We're going live because this is just too insane. The cats haven't had you sitting at that computer for a month and they're making you pay. Oh my God.
Shepard, say hi.
No, Shepard is too busy biting your head.
No.
Are you going to turn around so people can see how you're literally holding that cat up right
Oh,
now?
you mean, well, now the other cat's in the way. Yeah, I've got him. I'm holding his butt. There you go.
Nick
Now you can
literally
see
just
him.
logged in like this, so I just went live because it's just too precious.
Where's his head? There's his head.
There's his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, those cats, man. Hi, everyone. I'm back. I'm alive.
Which surprised me because I sent you a text last night that was just, "Hey, Edie, just
Oh,
making sure. Are you gonna do the podcast tomorrow? Uh, if you don't send me a response, I'll assume you're still like relaxing in a Bali pool,
oh,
and then I
uh,
don't get a response,
we doing a
and then
podcast tomorrow? I'm doing a stream. Or am I doing a stream? I don't hear from you. I'm assuming you're neck deep in a Bali pool. Oh, why didn't I get that last night?
And then this morning, I was texting Andrew, like, "Hey, what did Edie do with because I remember you did some like share thing with your PlayStation and his." And I was texting him in the group chat that we have, "Hey, what did Edie do to let you access her PlayStation games?" And we talked back and forth in the group chat that includes you
Why? I don't
about
know why I
about
wouldn't
you.
hear it.
And I got no response from you.
Yeah, I got
So
no.
I'm
Well,
like, so
here's
I
why.
even I even put in the Discord, "Hey guys, sorry, I'm gonna be streaming soon." 5 minutes. I'm at the couch. I have a blanket on me. Both cats kneading on the blanket. I hit the broadcast button on the PlayStation. I'm half a second from hitting go live. And then you send me a text, "You coming?" Like, what the, where the fuck have you been?
All right, so I'm gonna plead. I'm gonna explain to you why that might have not gotten through to me because I got no notifications of texts.
Okay.
Here is why. When I went to Bali, remember I had 2 phones. I had my regular iPhone, and then I had my, that LG piece of shit, God, that's a piece of shit phone, that LG Stylo 6, that was going to be my Polynesian phone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what I did, but because I was 18 hours ahead, um my notifications, well, first off, I didn't want it to drain my battery. Second off, I didn't want it, if I had my phone on, there was a chance that it might connect to the Tesla, and I don't want it to connect the Tesla because that would run it out of battery.
Hmm.
So I had to disconnect a bunch of notifications. Well, first off, had to disconnect like the roaming, but when I got into Wi-Fi service, what was happening is I'd be going to bed and it like, the middle of the night as I'm trying to sleep, I'm getting notifications from my phone about all the things that are happening at home because they're all set to 18 hours ahead.
Mm.
So every time somebody walks in front of a camera at the office, it was notifying me that there was movement on the camera, which that's not a problem during when I'm in this time zone, but when I'm there, I'm like literally asleep and my phone is going off every 30 seconds because people are walking in front of the camera. So I had to
Can't you
turn
just like
off most of my
mute?
notifications.
Can you just like mute the phone? Like the
No,
notifications would appear, but they wouldn't buzz or make a noise.
no, they do buzz. I have it all set to buzz. So I ended up turning off all notifications for a lot of stuff. So, and on top of that, I have on my phone currently 97 unanswered texts. that I have yet to catch up with right now. See, 90, you can't quite see it.
And wait, how
97
many phone calls
texts,
is that? Is that 187?
137.
Oh, Jesus. Wait, why are you getting more phone calls than texts? This is
Because it's spammers.
okay. That's a lot of spam.
I get a lot of spam.
I mean, even my phone was my phone. My phone's still outside.
Buy a
I,
house.
I was I was so rushed
Better
coming
yet,
here.
buy 2 houses. Better yet,
Okay.
own 5 houses. And it is your day is full. You're never alone. Really, you're
Your
never
phone is
alone.
basically useless.
Yeah. I answer my phone, "This is Edie," for a reason. Because people are looking to record your voice that says, well, first off, there's a lot of scammers. A lot of spammers, a lot of scammers. A lot of spammers trying to buy your house. A lot of scammers who are telling you or are trying to record your voice saying stuff
Mm.
so that they can create a soundboard and get into your accounts and stuff.
Ooh, get that deep fake learning going.
Very much a thing. So yeah. Ask me how jet lagged I am.
Yeah, because you're
Right
18 hours
now,
behind. 18-hour difference.
ahead. I'm 18 hours ahead. I'm in the future.
I mean, honestly, 18-hour difference, like it doesn't matter if you're behind or ahead.
No,
You're still kind of in the same general
right.
ballpark.
But it was very difficult because of course I'd be waking up on Monday morning to watch you or staying up no, waking up super early at 5 a.m. Monday morning to see you playing Sunday afternoon.
Mm,
Yeah. It was definitely a thing. Currently, my body is telling me that it is 3, 4, 5 a.m.
wow. When did you get back?
I got back Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday.
Okay, so it's only been like 5 days.
Yeah. Last 2 nights in particular were very, very difficult.
Mm.
Not sleeping great. I get to work. I'm able to hold it together until about 3 p.m. and then all of a sudden my brain turns complete mush.
So
I
wait,
have to go home.
when you came back Wednesday, did you just go right to work?
No, went to work
Okay.
on Thursday.
Oh, still.
I took off from Singapore Wednesday morning at 9:20 in the morning. I arrived in San Francisco at 8 a.m. Wednesday morning, and I didn't sleep a wink on the way back
Oh,
because
that
we
sucks.
lucked out. Way over, great. No kids. 2 flights to and from Bali, no kids. The critical flight, the flight home. The flight home. We didn't
Mm.
have 1, we had 2 directly behind us that were the same family, and they were both infants, and when one wasn't screaming, the other one was screaming. They
God.
tag teamed the screaming. Neither of them fell asleep for more than 5 minutes together at the same time. And the parents were complete brain dead idiots. They wouldn't get up, walk the kid, move him around. They would just let the kid scream itself to sleep.
They're just like,
So
he'll tire himself out.
right. Nobody in the back of that plane slept. And finally at the end, like I was holding it together by watching the entire season of Blood
Jeez.
of the Dragon. Blood of the Dragon, Call of the Dragon.
Oh, the House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon. I watched the entire season of House of the Dragon
Jeez.
on the plane. But when that ran out, it was hard. It was really hard. And finally when we were getting up to leave, like the plane is at the offboarding at that point. We're in the back of the plane. And the kids, of course, are at this point are in like overdrive. Like they found their third, fourth wind and were just screaming their heads off. And I just said, "Oh my God, that kid. Holy crap." I think I said something along the lines of, "That's against the Geneva Convention. That kid should be launched over enemy lines to clear out bunkers." Those kids should be rented out to high schools because it would solve all the unwanted pregnancy problems that they have.
Wow.
The whole back of the plane, I mean, I'm just saying this to my brother, the whole back of the plane is just laughing. Everybody's just rolling. You can hear like the snickers, like, I'm not gonna say anything, but yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Because the whole nobody slept on the way out. But got in, got home, got done. Now I'm just trying to like uh not yesterday morning, but the day before, Friday, I went to bed Friday night. The problem is your brain goes to mush at 3:30 in the afternoon. And then I come home, but I can't go to sleep. I'm yawning, I'm barely staying awake. I'm literally falling asleep un, like I'm trying to stop myself. I cannot help myself but fall asleep. So I'm having to keep moving, I'm cleaning, I'm doing whatever I need to because I can't sleep no matter how tired I am. Because if I do, I'm done. I'm dead. I'm never going to get over this jet lag. But I stay awake. I keep myself busy. I keep going. Comes around like 9:30, 10 o'clock, 10:30, and I'm
Oh,
wide
it's
awake.
like you pass that hump and then your body's like, "Okay, you wanna stay awake? Let's stay awake."
Yeah, you pass that hump and you're like, oh, it's morning. It's morning time. Yay. So I went to bed. God, what time did I go to bed? I went to bed Friday night at about I started to try to go to bed at 12:30, and I tossed and turned and tossed and turned and tossed and turned, and after having 3 hours of sleep the night before because I wasn't falling asleep, and I finally fell asleep. I rolled over yesterday morning and was like, "Oh, the sun is up." And it's not in the right position. I hope it's not too late. Looked at my clock, 2:30 in the afternoon. Slept till 2:30 after. And then last night I couldn't get well, it's a combination of reasons why, but I didn't get to sleep until 5 a.m.
Ooh.
But that's half the jet lag. And the other half I will tell you about in a moment. Actually, let's see what some of the comments are before we go. Hey, we got AC Wraith. AC Wraith, I missed you.
Yeah, just AC Wraith, mentioning that a restaurant charging a fee for unruly children,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I'm surprised there hasn't been, like, an airline that's like, "We don't allow infants," and they use that as a selling point.
Right, a transcon. The kid-free transcon.
Yeah.
Any flight over 6 hours, every flight over 5 hours, we guarantee you not to have any children on the flight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
you'd get a lot of business travelers.
I'm pro, like, if you have a kid, you have to travel by boat. You can't travel by airplane. It's a global law.
That would be nice, wouldn't it? Uh, so let's see. Thank you, AC Wraith. Welcome. Thank you for the welcome back. Yeah, unruly children, absolutely, they should be charged extra. And as someone who has not only had to sit through that, but also had to clean up after children like that. Remember, I used to work in airline.
Mm.
I know what those kind of families do to the back row. I've seen back rows literally an inch deep in crackers and like powdered Cheerios and chips and candy and just I mean it's like I've literally seen like an inch deep the entire row. Yeah, not okay. Um so yeah, let's start the show and then I will
Yeah, let's start the show and we can talk about the news that I did not record or pay attention to. I mean, I read
yeah.
news because I like the industry, but I have not been recording anything.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was prepared to stream a game now. I've still got my pajama pants on.
And I will tell you why I went to bed at 5:30 in the morning, and it's not just because of jet lag. So stand by.
This
Okay.
podcast
Okay.
discusses video games, modern culture, and technology, and these podcasters are big fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom says to take out the trash and do your homework.
Hello and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 695 here, recording this on Sunday, November 5th, 2023. I'm Edie Sellers. With me is Nick DiNicola, and I'm back
Hey.
from Bali. And the
Back
reason
from a
why,
month vacation.
actually after the first 3.5 weeks, it's no longer a vacation, it's work.
Really?
It a month is a really long time to be away from home. It's really long time.
So it didn't just like become your new life where you're like,
Oh,
this is my
that was
life
week
now.
2. It became
Oh,
your new
okay.
life. Week 3, it's awesome. Week 4, when you're going into week 4, then it starts to become like, all right, what do we need to do today?
Okay, I know you wanted to talk about what kept you up, but I also want to know about your trip. Like,
It was amazing. It was amazing.
okay.
It was amazing.
Even with even by week 4, you're like, this is still worth it.
It's still worth it. So here's the thing about Bali is it is surprisingly, for a very expensive flight to get there. Not horribly expensive if you're careful about what you buy. I think I spent $850, which is crazy cheap. Most of the time it's $1,200 for a very, very expensive ticket to get there. Once you get there, it's dirt cheap. Holy crap, is everything cheap. Holy crap, is everything cheap.
Also, like, I want to put this in perspective. You said $1,200 a ticket is really expensive to go to Bali. I'm going to Florida for Thanksgiving to celebrate it with Rachel's family. We kept putting off buying tickets until
Oh.
like a couple weeks ago.
Oh, come on. You know better than that.
We do.
Thanksgiving.
We do. And I hate myself for
Yeah.
waiting. Do you
Yeah.
know how much a ticket ended up being?
$1,600.
Thankfully, it wasn't that bad.
Oh, okay.
But it was 4 figures. It was like just about 1,000.
Okay. Yeah. That's about right.
So that's $1,000 to go to the other side of the country.
Yeah.
1,200 to go to the other side of the world is kind of not that bad.
Not that bad. I mean, yeah, you had to buy it. You don't buy it 2 weeks
And-
ahead of time.
and
Then
you
it'll cost
got
you
it for
$2,400. But yeah.
You got it for less. You went to the other side of the world for less than I'm going to the other side of the country.
Planning pays off. Also timing.
Yes.
But yeah, once you get there, it's dirt cheap. I do I have the video? I don't think I have the video of the place I stayed. The first place I stayed, where you guys saw the video from, that was 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, and the baths was a gorgeous shower, huge, massive shower, and a bathtub with jets. And there was one of those in each of the bedrooms. And you saw the rest of the place. And the bedrooms were massive. It was king beds on either side.
Wow.
Plus the private swimming pool, plus, daily, full kitchen, concierge, the whole 9 yards. That was $100 a night. And that was the expensive place. We ended up driving to the east coast of the island, and went to a place called Gianyar, which is just outside of Ubud. And Ubud is kind of like their arts area. That's where all of like the master wood carvers, master silversmiths, master painters, all of like their arts are all there. And I'll have if you watch the Daily Scoot, I've been trying to put up scoots. I have a ton of scoots, but there's a ton of scoots from up there. But and I booked this the night before. So it was not like it was wildly ahead of time on booking.com, nothing special. It was 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. It was actually it was what they call a family villa, but it was actually just a room within the building. But it had 2 sleeping areas and then a hallway and a bathroom in the center. Um, Swimming pool, public, swimming pool outside. It was like the building swimming pool.
Okay.
Great location, absolutely wonderful people. Everybody there is Bali is just the nicest people in the world, really. We paid, guess how much you would pay. Just guess. Like something that would be your definition of dirt cheap for a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom unit in a hotel in a tourist area. $32.
Jesus. That's like a motel where someone was murdered in the next room.
Yes. Yes. That's you no tell with the bathroom down the hall. If you're lucky you can get that. Beers, if you were going to buy an expensive bintang, it was $2. I had some incredible meals. We didn't have a single bad meal. All the food was like, holy crap, this is amazing. Whether we bought it from a street vendor or whether we bought it, in a nice restaurant. I think the most expensive meal that I got. Yeah, the most expensive meal I got, I videoed. You saw the video of it. It was 6 people. We had pitchers of sangria. Ian went to the bar and convinced them to make a margarita in a like a mug. With top shelf margaritas, with top shelf vodka. We ordered like a pizza, 2 hamburgers. I think we bought just about every appetizer on the entire menu. In this resort, in this beach club and you saw, I don't know if you saw the video on this that I posted about how my life sucks. Big beach club, foam party going on the other side of the bar, and that cost me $168.
Jeez.
I don't think that I had I think the most expensive plate that we bought, and it was at a sushi restaurant, and we got ribeye for the I would call it hibachi, but it's not a hibachi. It's actually, just like it's not shabu shabu. It's where you cook it on a hot plate, on a hot rock. And we got an order of ribeye and lobster. And it was $15.
What? That's like a $120 meal here.
Yeah.
Jesus. I'm just gonna move to Bali.
Yeah, once you go there, once you get there, it's crazy cheap. It's crazy cheap, but you have to like switch your brain into dealing with millions or billions. Billions of rupiah, because it's 15,600 rupiah to the dollar. So 500,000 rupiah is like $30.
Okay. So yeah, it's basically the whole currency is dealing with pennies.
Dealing with fractions of pennies. So yeah, it's crazy stupid cheap, and it's crazy stupid wonderful, and everywhere you look it looks like it's like you're walking through a Hollywood soundstage. Everything is so perfect. It looks like it's CGI. It's so beautiful.
Wow.
So high points was I was given the privilege, Ian and I had the privilege of being invited into the inner temple of a Hindu temple during a Hindu ceremony that was really cool. It's they at the end of October, kind of like we have Halloween,
Mm-hmm.
they have something that is about cleansing the village of evil. And so it's they had puppets. Giant puppets is a very much a big thing in Balinese culture. And these giant, like 15-foot puppets um, of a king and no, a god and his wife. No, a king and his wife. And people, essentially have them on their shoulders and walk down the street. And it's essentially, it starts at the Hindu temple and it proceeds from village to village to village where offerings are given, and each, like some specific houses are they stop by so that they can give their offering. Noisemakers to keep the evil spirits away. Really cool. Everybody kind of, all the men, not the women, but the men actually paint their faces in like masks and stuff. They kind of
Hmm.
dress up a little bit. Um, Ian and I were invited to our host's mother's house so that we could borrow clothes from his mother and his father. And we were invited to the inner temple of a ceremony where they were setting it up and everybody that was involved was getting the blessing. And then we walked for about 2 kilometers or so in the blazing hot sun. And with the procession, essentially it's like a big parade. So it's kind of cool. That and walking along a beach in uh, on the West Coast on, I believe it was Saba Beach. Walking along the beach, I looked down and there is a baby sea turtle
Oh.
that had gotten wrong wayed and had washed back up on the beach. So I got him out. Took him a couple tries to get out of the surf to be from washing back on the beach, but I got up, got him out into a current, so he was carried out to sea the way he's supposed to. So we saved Tootle,
Oh, Toodle.
Tootle the turtle. And Ian got to feed, well, we both got to feed a white tiger. But Ian pissed it off and it lunged at him
Oh,
like
Jesus.
this close to his face. I mean,
Was
there
it
was
in
in a
a
yeah,
cage?
that we were in the cage actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What did he do to piss it off?
Well, the tiger really didn't want to eat. So it would take the food, but you had to put it right in front of its mouth and then it would kind of like slurp it up. You could tell it was a little like over it.
Mm.
And Ian was trying to get it a little closer. So he was pulling it back every time that the tiger like reached
No.
for it. And then it fell off the end and the tiger reached and there was nothing. And that pissed off the tiger. Really pissed off the tiger. Not only did Lenjity in and started to walk away, the handler who was also in the cage with us is like, come on back, come on back, come on back, and the tiger walking away. The tiger turned around, and was like, "Fuck you!" and took off.
Yeah, don't fuck with tigers.
We saw a chicken being fed to the biggest saltwater crocodile I have ever seen in my life. And if
Oh.
you want to hear a sound that goes like that makes you respect the fuck out of crocodiles, that's the sound. I recorded it. It doesn't do it justice. Like when it happened, I was frozen. I look at Ian and was like, holy.
Was it the crocodile making the sound?
It's the sound of the crocodile's jaws
Oh.
going like that. All of a sudden you get real wise real quick to exactly how much power is behind there. It's jaw-dropping. Jaw-dropping. Yeah, had a great time. Wonderful. Only got myself sunburnt once.
Okay, you know what? For a month trip, that's really good.
Yeah, the rest of the time I was living in sunscreen that first day, though. I didn't know I was going to the beach, and I learned after that, carry the
Yeah.
sunscreen with you no matter what.
See, it's good that it happened so early because then you knew, like, okay, I'm gonna take care of this.
And Bali traffic, when I get those scoots up, you will see what I mean. Bali scooting If you can survive Bali traffic, whether you're a car or a scooter, you can survive anything.
We've just been watching The Amazing Race, and they're in India on little tuk-tuks driving around, and I imagine it's got to be something similar.
Uh,
No, there's no traffic lights, right? No
no
stop
traffic
signs,
lights. No
none of that.
traffic
It's
lights,
just
no
it's
stop
just
signs.
hey, go get from point A to point B. Try to run into as few people as possible.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I only saw one accident the entire time I was there. But yeah, it was yeah, just it's a bit like trying to flow with the water. You're on
Mm.
a rapid and you just kind of try to get yourself over to where you need to go before you make a right-hand turn. People are generally very nice. They'll let you in if you put on your turn signal because everybody knows that we're
Oh,
all in this together. It's not cutthroat. Um and there are no rules. If you need to run a stop sign, run a stop sign. If there are some stoplights, if you need to run the
mm.
stoplight, run the stoplight. If you need to get past this car by jumping on the curb and riding down the sidewalk,
Jesus.
all that, it was a very common occurrence. And yes, I did participate. Um, if it's a like highway, a divided highway with a wall in the center, and where you need to go is behind you, and you'd have to go like down like 4 miles in order to turn around and come back one to where you are 1 mile away, just ride 1 mile down the wrong side. It's okay. As long as you're on the curb, down the curb, just run down the curb the wrong way. Did that too.
Okay.
Um, yeah. Yeah, I miss riding the scooter, but at the same time, it was terrifying riding the scooter.
Yeah, that seems like kind of thing you have to get used to.
Yeah, where like you stop the scooter at a stoplight or a stop sign or when there's a like traffic and you put your feet down and you have to put your feet down really close to the side of the scooter because otherwise somebody will run over your feet. That's how
No.
close everybody is to you.
Okay, yeah, I would want to be in like a car or something.
No. I thought
No.
Ian thought so too. I said I
You're
wanted to go
protected.
to
You
the
got a
East
cage around you.
Coast. No. I said I wanted to go to the East Coast. I want to take a scooter. And he's like, You don't know if you really want to. I could tell he's like, I don't think you can ride a scooter. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, fuck you. I've been riding a scooter, A, longer than you have, B, more recently than you have. But he got a car. Absolutely terrifying. The roads, the 2-lane roads are actually more it's like most of them can only take 1 car wide, but
Hmm.
it's 2 lanes. It's fucking terrifying in a car. Fucking terrifying in a car. The car is way slower, way harder to drive, and way more terrifying.
Are there a lot of
So scary.
like bikes?
There were a few bicyclists, but then again, I wouldn't ride a bicycle. No way. I
But you
would
would a
not.
scooter?
I'd ride the
And
scooter.
and by scooter you mean the ones that you stand on, not like a
No,
Vespa
Vespa.
scooter.
Vespas.
Oh, you do mean a Vespa scooter.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense. I was thinking like a scooter that you stand on, right? Like a razor scooter
No,
type of
I did
thing.
see one person on one of those, but
Okay.
it doesn't go fast. And no, I mean no. We're talking about like a Vespa.
Okay, that
Um,
makes more sense then.
yeah. Let's see if I can pull it up so you can see the. I did do a night driving in a car. This is in a car, not on the actual. Actually, let me see if I can pull it up.
What is night driving like there?
Actually, night driving's not too bad. It's not too bad.
Okay.
Um,
It's not like turn the difficulty up a couple notches.
no, actually the opposite. During the day, during rush hour in downtown Denpasar, yes, that's when you turn up.
Hmm.
That's when you get into to prestige mode. Let me see. I will mute it for you.
Surviving Bali's beach traffic.
Yeah, I mean, to give you a sense, by the way, that is Batu Baleg. It's beautiful. Everything there is beautiful. Let's see if I can get to a good spot here to give you an idea of what we're talking about. There you go. Like you can see, it's driving way more complicated with a car. You can see how close they're passing.
Mm.
Let me see if we can get to a spot where it's actually straight up. Yeah. This is what I mean by scooters.
Okay. I would feel safer on those scooters than like a motorized Razor scooter.
Yeah. No. But if everybody was riding a motorized Razor scooter, it would be one thing. But it's not. I have in my scoots, I just mentioned it in the comments here. I saw people with actually, and where's one? I think there's one about person to come in with a mom and 2 kids on the scooter. There we go. Yep, there we go. 3 people on a scooter. I saw 4 people on a scooter. I saw
Wow.
a mother holding a little kid. The kid was standing on her thigh, and she's holding the kid up like that, standing on a scooter. Like that. One hand. I saw a dog.
Have you seen a golden retriever driving a scooter?
Golden retriever driving a scooter. Yep. Got that. Insane. Just absolutely insane stuff. And of course, it's just the roads are always, in great shape, as you can see.
How was
See what I
getting
mean
around?
about how hard it is to be a car there?
Yeah, cars are just bigger.
Yeah, and it's just this is what cars are like here. And this was actually not that bad. This is a relatively tame drive.
How
This is tame.
did you like learn the area so that you eventually could just like drive around and kind of know where you were going?
There are no blocks. Like you take for granted the fact that we have square blocks. Like down this way, oh, you missed it. Oh, you can go to the next one and take it back over. None of those roads connect. It's all just snaky serpentine with a couple of roads that actually do get to the next like group of snaky roads together. Street signs are a completely non-existent. So if you don't know the roads, and all the roads look the same sometimes. You think you know road, and then
So
it's
how do
like,
you
oh no,
tell
I
where
don't.
you're going?
The in front of me, and on this one is Ian, and behind Ian is IU, the friend. So she's the one that's giving him directions. He's giving me directions by giving me turn signals.
Okay, so basically you need a navigator.
He's navigating. Now, when we were traveling together, he would look at he had his maps up on his phone. Now,
Okay.
my
Oh,
phone was
okay,
too
okay.
long to fit in the little like cup holder. If I had a scooter there, I would get one of those little arms to hold the scooter. So I just followed him everywhere. But it's madness, absolute madness. Absolute madness. So, if I highly recommend Bali. It's not cheap to get there, but once you're there, it's freaking discount travel like crazy.
That sounds cool.
I spent 4 times as much on boarding my dogs as I did in boarding myself and eating in Bali
For the whole month?
for the whole month. It cost me less than $1,000.
Okay. I gotta retire to Bali.
You gotta retire to Bali. It's the reason why a lot of people are moving to Bali. There's a very good reason for it. That being said, if you're gonna retire there, make sure you're in really good health because you're gonna die. They don't really have great healthcare there. I didn't see a single hospital, and I think I saw one. I think I saw police 3 times the entire time I was there. I saw an ambulance once, and it
Okay,
wasn't. Yeah.
so you're basically on your own.
Oh, you're on your own. Oh,
Okay.
absolutely, absolutely. It is a libertarian's dream. You are on your fucking own.
Did you get to stay at that like wild ass hotel that we saw pictures of? The one that's got like a landmass on top of it. It's like 3 towers with a giant
Oh, that's
landmass on
Singapore.
top of it. Oh,
That's
that's
Singapore.
Singapore.
No,
Oh,
yeah,
that's right.
that's
You went to Singapore to get to Bali.
right. To go to Singapore to Bali. Yeah, that was the 3 towers with the essentially the cruise ship on top.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was Bali, or that was Singapore. No, we
Okay,
didn't.
okay.
We didn't go in there. We didn't stay there. You can go in there. It's a casino, so we could have. But
Yeah.
when we
But
on the way back,
I'll also bet Singapore is a bit more expensive than Bali.
yeah,
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's about. Yeah, Chunder, you have absolutely no reason not to go to Bali. Seriously, I was surrounded by your brethren the entire time. Everybody thought we were Australian until we opened our mouths. And all the Balinese thought we were Australian anyway because they can't tell the difference. Yeah. It was. I mean, there's whole cities. That's all it is.
Yeah. Oh, Chunda says he's going to Singapore in February. Are you gonna go to the cruise ship on top of 3 towers?
Go to the cruise ship on top of 3
Thank you,
towers.
AC Wraith. Marina Bay Sands.
Marina Bay Sands. That's it. Thank you. Yeah, I would recommend going to Bali when you have a chance. Just get that trip. Just get that ticket. Go over. It's just dirt effing cheap. Oh my god. Oh my god. And the people are so nice, and it is so beautiful. So enough about the trip.
Yes, but I wanted to
Here's
hear.
why.
Like that's what we've been. That's what you've been doing the past month. You
know.
can't come on the podcast and not talk about the trip.
I know. But here's why I was up till 5 o'clock in the morning until not last night. I was up until 5 o'clock in the morning last night. I forced myself to get up at 10. That was very, very difficult. There's a very good reason, and that reason is
I figured. I knew it. Did you spend all that time creating a character?
No. I've created
it
really quickly.
Really? It took me like 3 hours, but then I was also reading. Like I read the description and the benefits of every race and every class and every subclass. Like I read through.
Sort of
everything.
did, but I skimmed it. I just picked something I wanted to play.
You see, I didn't know what I wanted to play, so part of it was like reading the instruction manual, right? The character creation was kind of like reading the instruction manual.
Boy, Baldur's Gate is a very slow play game. Holy crap, does it move slowly? I mean, it has to. I should say, it's not the game that moves slowly; it's the gameplay that moves slowly because it is D&D.
Yeah, like all the combat's turn based, and you do get direct control of the character when you're exploring.
And I am skim saving. Sorry. There's just sometimes those saving rolls. I gotta get that ability check.
And it is nice that you can save anytime.
Anytime, even in the middle of a dialogue box, which is so amazing.
Yeah, you get.
Baldur's Gate does 2 things really, really right. One is you can save at any time so that if you get a decision, you can save in the middle of the dialogue. Actually, 3 things right. 2, in the middle of your dialogue, you can switch characters so that character can buff you so that you do get an ability check.
Or you can switch to another character and have them go around back and pickpocket.
Yeah. 3, when you get over encumbered, you know what you can do? Send your shit to the camp.
You can send it to camp.
You don't have to go to the camp. You literally open up the description. There is send a camp, and it sends it to your camp box, your camp inventory box, and your camp inventory box is infinite.
You can send it to a camp, or you could just send it to another character.
Send it to another character. Absolutely. You're not ever struggling about picking up every little blip and blob. The only downside of it is that you have to weed it out so that you can actually no, you just add it to wares and then you can just sell all your wares all at once.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
just
Also, important thing to note: each character, when you're in that inventory menu and you do sell wares, it only sells the wares for the character you're highlighting. So if you
well, you
like,
can there is a window that you can say that it's you can say all and it will pull up all items and then
oh, okay,
underneath
because
it it's individual.
I've always been like sell wares, switch to another character, sell wares, switch to another character, sell wares, and like it's a button press, so it's like
Right.
L2 square, L2 square, L2 square.
Yeah, no, you can it's you sell it for you can sell for everybody.
Okay.
Scroll down when you're selling and always trade, do not barter. Not worth it. Just trade.
That's I forget which system is which. One is
Barter is I want something of yours. What will you take for it?
okay, yeah, he give me something of equivalence
Right.
from it.
Trade is I want gold.
Okay, yeah, trade is just like basic
So
buying, selling.
right. Yeah. Um.
I will say, now that you've started it, I'm just about at the end of Act 1.
Oh. Okay.
And I'm about like 55 hours in.
Wow.
I am very curious how long it will take you to pass me.
Oh, it's going to take a long time.
No, I feel like it's going to take a week.
Me?
Yeah.
Mm.
I feel like you will pass me before
I'm
next month.
definitely more than 55. Well, I don't think I'm 50. I could be 55 hours in at this point.
Wait, how? You started on Wednesday.
Yeah.
There's not even there hasn't even been 55 hours that's passed.
Yeah, it has been.
If you don't sleep.
I haven't
Oh,
slept.
okay. Jeez.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I'm 55, but I'm certainly a good 25 to 30 at this point.
Okay. So yeah, where are you? What are you thinking about it? How do you like it?
Oh god, I'm loving it. But it is I have to remind myself that it's like there's no just sit down and play for an hour. Because you might not get more than 20 feet from where you are in an hour when you have
Yeah.
all of the other like there's so much moving things around and setting things up and moving your spells around and getting the right character for the right situation. It's so much of that. So it's a lot of window dressing, a lot of table setting before you actually get into
Yeah.
combat.
It's a lot of inventory management, but in a fun way because
Yeah, yeah,
you're you're
it's not
outfitting
like
a
it's
character.
yes, it's not it's you're doing it for the right reasons, not the wrong reasons, not the running around and fiddling back and forth and trying to manage inventory because you're encumbered again. Okay, well, whenever
Hmm.
that's not an issue. Um, I'm let's see, what have I got? I have I mean, it's what's interesting is that I'm still going through Act 1 and still acquiring characters, which is kinda nice, team
Okay.
members.
Yeah, there's like a core cast of 6 that I think are kind of the main characters, and then there's other characters that you can get to join your team that I think are less common. There are the characters on the cover of the box art, and then there are like the other people you can recruit.
Right, I got Markarth? Okay, you
Margaret.
know the blade of the
Will?
yeah, Will. Okay, remember he's after a demon?
Karlak.
Karlak. I got
Karlak.
Karlak.
Karlak fucking rocks.
Karlak is awesome! Oh my god! It's so nice to have another, like, tank. It's so nice,
Hmm.
and she's a badass. And Will and Karlak get along really well now, especially now that things have changed for Will.
Yeah. I haven't used Will a lot. Like, have you settled into your team, like your group that you
I
made?
did. I did. It was, God dang it, I'm having a brain cramp on the names. It was the wizard,
Gale?
Gale. It was the, push face gal.
Shadowheart?
No, Shadowheart is one of them. No, the
Okay,
one
Lizelle?
Lizelle.
Yeah.
So Lysel, Shadowheart, and Gale for a really, really, really long time. And then
Okay.
I have not really used the vampire yet.
Oh, dude. Use his sneak attack. Like when what's great is
See, I'm a rogue and I have sneak attack.
oh, you do? Okay, I don't. I'm playing as a sorcerer. And so Asterion is great because I'll just like have him in the middle of battle, he'll just run like outside of the line of sight of someone,
Mhm.
hide, which is a bonus action, and then is that Jupiter behind the couch? Just a little tiny head
Yeah,
popping
just a
out?
little head back there.
I didn't know that's where he was. Oh my god. um, but yeah, Asterion will just out of line of sight, hide, and then attack, and he does so much damage. I give him all my best bows.
Yeah, yeah. Um, that's exactly what I'm doing for myself. I
Uh-huh.
am a rogue, so it's kind of like that's why I chose not him.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's since I'm a sorcerer, I don't use Gale a whole lot.
Right,
Even even
exactly the
though
same thing.
even though Gale has grease, which is really, really
Oh,
useful.
you combine grease, Gale's grease, with Shadowheart's fireball. Ugh, brutal, brutal domination. Um, but yeah, that's how I was for a while. And then I got Will, and I was trying to rotate him in, but he kind of just didn't fit right.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm really kind of not crazy about Lysel, but she's the only like damaged, tank essentially that I had until I got Karlak.
So like, yeah, I
And Karlak is just the bomb.
most
Just the bomb.
recently I've been running around with Karlak and Lysel with Asterion and me as a sorcerer, and like having the two tanks there, it's just like, all right,
Yeah.
girls, go wreck shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm uh that's what I have right what I'm playing right now is Lysel, Karlak, Shadowheart as a cleric, and me as the stealth damage dealer.
Mhm.
But I'm want to switch out Lysel. I think I'm gonna do that fairly soon. Lysel for Gale.
Mm. And what is nice is, have you found Withers?
I have.
Like you can go to Withers and change your class.
You
Like
can
you can
actually change your
change
class? I
you
thought it
could
was just to change your numbers.
no, you can change your class, you can change your race, you can change your entire character.
Oh, wow.
Like and the game, yeah, it allows that. So it doesn't like lock you into anything.
Right.
You can if there's one thing they added after release is a magic mirror in your camp that allows you to change your
Right.
appearance.
Right. I have done that a couple of times. Um, yeah, it's so it is such a time sink. It really, really, really is. But what I most appreciate about it, other than the voice acting, of course, because I'm a whore for voice acting, is the fact that there's so much going on. There's never just a big, long section of you just running through nothingness. There's always something around the next corner, almost to a fault.
Yeah, like it's a the world is like really packed with stuff to
Vibrant.
discover, stuff to explore.
Absolutely. And having such a great time just enjoying not only the rapport between the characters as they get to know each other, which is really funny.
Yeah, it does the thing that all games like this should do, where you're running through the world and the characters will just start up conversations with each other.
Right. So that they feel like real people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the story itself keeps surprising me. Like I think that it's like, okay, this is lather once, repeat. You got to do this. Then you got to. I have yet to have a single collection quest.
Oh yeah, just like a basic go here, do this. I don't think I've run into one of
Not
those
a
either.
single one of those. It's always got a feels like it's got a purpose, which is really, really hard to do for games because it means they had to be written, it means somebody had to put some time in and thought into that world. And that shit happens all the time, like you're just walking along and all of a sudden you're transported by somebody into another dimension to have a conversation. It happens all the time.
Hmm.
I mean, not all the time, but it's like you just have no clue of what's going to come next.
There was
You cannot predict what this game is going to do to you or with you or ask you to do.
there's one time like I saved and I was just like exploring this new area, and all of a sudden I got in a fight, and there were like these ghouls there, and it's like, okay, there's 3 ghouls, maybe I can handle this. And then this one enemy appeared that's like a death sentinel, and I was like,
Oh
what the
God.
fuck is that? It's like a giant 8-foot soldier with huge armor and like a skeleton head. And I'm like, what the fuck is this thing? And then another one appeared, and I was like, oh shit, I don't know what this is. I'm not prepared for this fight. And then like I killed a couple ghouls, and then the Death Sentinel brought them back to life. And I was like,
Oh
oh shit. And I managed
no.
I managed, it's like, okay, I killed one Death Sentinel, and then the other Death Sentinel brought him back, and then he brought a ghoul back, and it was just like, oh shit, oh shit. But what's cool about this game is I I I realized, okay, I'm not prepared for this fight. I'm just gonna duke it out for as long as I can to learn about this enemy, right? I want to learn how they move. I want to learn how they attack. I want to see what they can do so that I'm prepared, because they're undead. Shadowheart has the ability to turn undead. I had just taken Shadowheart out of my party.
Ah.
So I was like, okay, I want to learn how they work so I can come back later with Shadowheart. But like over the course of the next hour, I'm like slowly whittling them away. I'm putting up like clouds of poison that will blind them. And it's like, wait a minute, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can win. And like I just whittled away each guy, distract him. He brings one guy back to life. One of my 2 tanks just spends the whole turn killing that guy. And in the end, like I used all my abilities. Everything was worked out, everything was expended, but I won. And it was
Mhm.
like, oh, damn, that feels really good, to enter a fight that feels like it's beyond you, and then just like pull out victory, to feel
Mhm.
like you kind of outsmarted the enemy, that you used the right combination of abilities at the right time
Right.
to pull out victory.
Yep. Um, and I've been discovering stuff that even when I've had to resort to walkthroughs because I couldn't figure something out, or it's like, this seems strange, I can't quite figure out what needs to happen here. I'm finding things that even the walkthroughs aren't finding. I went into this area that, I mean, I don't think it's not a spoiler to say that I went into Lysel's fort because I found it in the goblin camp by accident and went there. And it's like, there's this thing where I think I need to destroy it to be able to get in, but I can't figure out how. So I looked it up and turns out, no, you don't get in. I'm like, oh, okay. But I found this other area. I was walking out. I'm like, oh, look, I can climb over this wall. Oh, look, there's a ladder. Let's climb down this ladder. Huh, what's all this over here? Holy shit, it's a beholder.
Where did you find that?
And
Wait,
Lysel's fort.
the Githyanki Kresh?
No, Lysel's fort, where in the goblin camp,
Yeah.
if you
Look,
spoilers.
we're talking now that Edie's playing it, we can talk details about it. So there will probably be spoilers, but at the same time, it's kind of fun to know what the possibilities are, because no one is going to have the same
There's
playthrough.
so much in there. Yeah, nobody's gonna have the same playthrough. All
'Cause
right.
I thought I explored the shit out of the goblin camp. I killed every goblin in that camp. I committed genocide in that camp.
Okay, did you kill Gut,
Probably.
leader?
Uh, I- so I made friends with a goblin
Me
who
too.
let me go all the way to their leader.
That's Gut,
Uh,
right?
okay, and then she kind of betrays you, so I killed her, and that triggered like every other goblin in the camp. Uh, but so I instead of going and fighting my way out, then I found a door that let me go to the Underdark,
Oh, okay.
and I
Yeah,
kind
I
of and I
just
kind of
discovered the
escaped there.
Underdark.
Um, so yeah, where's this beholder?
Okay, so way I played it was that I got same thing, friendly, all the way up to Gut. I convinced Gut that we need to talk about, like I convinced her that I really don't need a brand. Now I'm sorry I did. But I convinced her I don't need to be branded, but she wanted to talk to me to take care of my little like tadpole problem. But she wanted to do it away from all these prying eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So she takes me into her little area, closes the door behind her, and I knew she was going to betray me. I knew she was going to betray me. I needed her dead. So once she's got me behind the doors, uh, I just walked behind her and I didn't want to I wanted to initiate. I wanted to have the initiative. So I just hit her with a stealth attack and then let everybody else clean her up, and that kills her immediately and she doesn't pull the ogre in.
Oh.
So then I got her key and went into her private chambers, and there's the ogre.
Okay,
And
yeah, I
because
met him.
all right, so then I'm chatting, and of course, none of the other it's nobody knows. Like the whole Goblin camp doesn't know she's dead because I haven't opened up that door. I went into her chambers. I convinced the ogre there that I should be there. I charisma checked that guy like crazy and convinced him it's okay for me to be there. You bang a left, and you bang another left, and you're in this big room with kind of nothing in it, but there's this puzzle on the floor.
Okay, yeah, yeah, and you got like line the moons up.
Right. Yeah, you line the moons up, and you get through it opens up a door, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you go through that door, you go all the way down, and you go into this area where they've got the what was it, Mezzaloon or whatever her name is, and it's that big statue that's shooting the self defense mechanism, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, and you see the Minotaur die.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
So,
there's a gate there that you can't open.
right. Well, you can. There's a lever.
Oh,
That's how I
really?
looted the Minotaur.
Oh.
But you can't go in there because the self-defense mechanism will kill you, and I was trying to figure out how to destroy the self-defense mechanism.
Yeah, I had ended up because that's kind of where I figured this was kind of a dead end because I Lizelle has a longer jump than other characters.
Yeah,
So
because she's strong.
what I did is I separated Lizelle from the team and had her go through a series of jumps to basically get around the gate. Um, and then I had to put down boxes, jump on top of the boxes, and then use the height from the boxes to jump onto the bridge. But I managed to get there, loot the Minotaur, run past the self defense things. But then I'm like, well, shit, now I'm just kind of in the Underdark with Lizelle by herself. This is not a good idea. Let me reload the save.
All right,
And
so, um, yeah, I mean, there's a lever right next to the door. You could just open up the door, loot the monster, and then close the door. But here's where the beholder is, and it is in the Underdark. Okay, so we've got the dead Minotaur to your back, right?
mm-hmm.
You run past the statue, right? Go up the stairs, and then there is like a cage to the right and a cage to the left.
Oh, inside the area where you are.
Right. Go into the cage to the right, and you can climb out the window to a ledge.
Okay. I did that, but I couldn't really. That's how I got Lizelle around the
Right.
side.
That's what I figured. There is a ladder right there
Jesus, I just missed the ladder.
that you can climb down. And if you go snooping around, you will come across this whole area of petrified people. And then you get a cutscene and the beholder shows up.
Oh, jeez. Did you fight it?
That's when I was at 5:30 this morning, and I was like, I gotta go. Well, first off, I was in no place that I could fight. Everybody was half dead anyway.
Mm,
Like, and if I'm gonna fight a beholder, I want to have to do that after a long rest.
yeah.
But yeah, I that's where I ended at 5:30 in the morning. Was like, I've got to go to bed, even though I don't want to. I've
So yeah,
got to go to bed.
what level are you?
I just cleared level 5.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What?
I am level 5.
Maybe I'm level 4. No, maybe level 4. I can't remember. It'd be either 4 or 5.
Yeah. Yeah, see, this is why I say you're gonna pass me, even though I've been playing like little bits here and there for a month because like yeah, I can tell.
Yeah, but
You're gonna
there's a
binge
beholder
you're gonna
down
binge
there,
this.
and I'm gonna fight him. I'm probably gonna
Okay.
die, but I'm gonna try and fight him.
I remember I had a fun encounter with a giant spider, and the reason I wanted to be a sorcerer.
Oh, that the giant spider trying to get the dark amethyst for the book,
Huh?
the the cursed book.
What the fuck is this cursed book?
All right. Um.
No, I went into a cave and
Okay.
like I encountered a whole bunch of spiders there.
Is
Um
this under the blighted village where all the goblins are, and it's like this
it
village that's all fucked up, and then you
oh
go into an old apothecary's, an old alchemist's house, and you find the door to the basement, and you go into the basement. It goes into a cave, and then you have to fight a bunch of undead, and then you find a mirror, and you convince the mirror to let you through, and that leads you into the spider's
I
den.
I thanks to a like things you may have missed YouTube video. I
Mhm.
was in that area, completely missed the mirror. But
Oh,
I got into that area because I went down a well.
right.
I
That's the other
jumped
place you can do
Yeah,
down
I
the well.
jumped down a well, and that got me into the spider area, and then I was able to, like, break a wall to get into the basement where there's the forge. And there's, like, some mission too of forging a special weapon.
Yes, but you have to go into the hells to get a particular kind of wood. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Um, but yeah, the reason I wanted to be a sorcerer is because they get Thunder Wave, and I had heard that Thunder Wave could be a lot of fun. And sure enough, I'm fighting this giant spider, and like I wanted to prepare, so I had like Asterion the rogue up top so that he could shoot down at the spiders, and I had my tank and my sorcerers like all lined up, ready to jump in and fight at once. They go in, they start to fight. The spider, the giant spider, immediately jumps up and starts fucking up Asterion, and I'm like, oh god damn it. So I have my main character, my sorceress, climb up, and then I realized, oh, you know what? This is the perfect opportunity. He's right next to a bottomless pit. Let's see if I Thunderwave and just fall into the pit. And all of a sudden, he had full health, and this boss fight was just over. And I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
yeah, this is
So
worth it.
I totally cheesed that fight because I tried it every fucking which way I could and could not beat it. So, and the reason why I needed to beat it was because in the if you didn't go through the well, if you went through the alchemist's house, you get and you realize, spoiler, he's a necromancer actually, and he stole a book from some either powerful necromancer or demon or something. He's stolen the book and is trying to unlock the secrets within the book. And it looks, for all purposes, like the what was the Evil Dead book? The
Oh, the
Necronomicon.
yeah.
It's the Necronomicon. Um, and the book is supposed to have, you can't open it because it's missing a dark amethyst,
Mm.
and that will unlock it. And the
You know
dark
what?
amethyst is, you picked it up, didn't you?
I think I have the dark amethyst, but I'm like, this has a gold outline around it. This seems like an important item. I'm just gonna hold on to this.
Yeah, that's what it's for.
Oh.
So I needed the dark amethyst to unlock the book. And the book is pretty fucking powerful. And it goes multiple acts of its power, of actually acquiring the power from it. It takes multiple acts.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a kind of a big thing.
Where'd you get the book?
The book is in the alchemist's study, behind a locked door that's also got traps on it.
Okay. And the alchemist house is in the Blighted Village.
It is in the Blighted Village. All you have to do is go into one of the houses and you will find behind a counter there is a door to the cellar. You can go in, door to the cellar. I highly recommend do not open any of the coffins that you see, the sarcophagi, because if you open one, then you start a fight. It's not hard, but it's not easy either. You might as well just avoid it if you can. And down there is a mirror. And the mirror will let you in if you answer things the right way or convince it otherwise.
Mm.
And inside there is going to be a room that's got a gate, another room off of it with a gate that is got traps on it. You disarm the traps, you lock-pick the gate, and you get in. And then you get the Necronomicon. Or it's somebody's book of some things. I forget. Anyway, it's a cursed book. But I needed that dark crystal. And I couldn't beat that fucking spider and her fucking
No.
spiderlings. It was horrible. So I had Will. Yeah, Will. Will's got the whole, like, if you can see it, you can phase their skill.
Oh. Yeah, Misty Step?
Misty Step. So I separated him out from my party. And this is a terrible thing to admit, but it's the only time I've cheesed it.
Oh, this whole game is cheesing.
I Misty Stepped him. I hit him with invisibility and had him climb down. Actually, take it back. I used invisibility. I had him climb down. Misty Step. You can't step on the if you step on
the web
bridges,
mm-hmm.
the spider's alerted because something's stepping on the bridges. Even if you're
so you
invisible.
Misty Stepped past the bridges.
I Misty Stepped past the bridges to
clever.
one of the posts that has a climb down area. I Misty Stepped to the across the way, did the climb down area, of course, invisible, went over to the dark crystal, but once you pick it up, you are no longer visible and you start a fight, and now you're solo. So I picked it up. I immediately went into my inventory and sent it to camp. And then I let Will die.
So wait, where's Will now? Is his body still down
So
there?
then, of course, I go back to my other party who's not engaged in any fight at this point.
Yeah.
Go back to camp. It's in my chest waiting for me. And I go over to Withers and resurrect him for 100 gold.
Oh.
It's a full spiffing Brit exploit that I totally used.
That's not cheesing it. That's using the systems as they're designed.
Yeah. Let's see. My birthstone is Amethyst, but I've seen Evil Dead and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't mess with evil books. Actually, the evil book, when you open it, you actually have to pass skill checks for every page.
God damn, I need to find this book. I think I've even been in the tomb that you mentioned, like with all it's like got one big sarcophagus in the middle and a bunch of smaller ones along the side.
No, this is just a big wild room, and it's got like 6 sarcophaguses, coffins. It's not sarcophagus, they're coffins.
Okay.
There's 6 coffins just strewn, or 8 coffins strewn about. And if you
Okay.
open one, then uh, an undead skeleton pops out and bashes you over the head and proceeds to start opening up the other ones.
Hmm.
And it rapidly gets out of hand very quickly. But if you don't open them, you could just walk right up to the mirror and talk to the mirror and go in.
Okay.
Just don't open
Alchemist's
one.
house, door behind the counter. And this is not the house with the hole in it that if you jump down into the hole, you're someplace different. That's how you get to the
That is the one
forge.
that has it. There is that house does have a hole in it that is covered by spider webs.
Yeah.
It is that house.
Oh,
But if
okay.
you go into the next room, you'll see a counter and they'll say, "Oh, looks like it was a house of an alchemist." And then you will see behind the counter there was a door to the cellar.
Oh,
You
motherfucker.
can also get there from inside of the spider cave by there's a if you've got the perception check, you will find a wall that can be destroyed, and that will
Okay.
get you in there as well.
Yeah, I thought I did that, but I must have completely missed it. And that's part of the fun of this game, right? Is there's so many things that you don't even know are there.
Oh, you wouldn't have seen it because you didn't. Oh, you of course you wouldn't have seen it because you didn't open the. From the inside, there's a lever you have to pull to open up a secret door that lets you into the spider cave. So that's why you didn't see it. It has to be open
Okay.
from the other side. At least as far as I know, it has to be open from this other side. But anyway, yeah, go get the Necronomicon. It's not called the Necronomicon. It's called something else.
Okay. I'm gonna do that. And then yeah, have you encountered the witch?
Which witch?
In the southwest area of the map.
Don't think so.
Okay,
Not yet.
you'll know.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
it's a whole quest. Like if you go in that area, you'll find an old woman being accosted by some guys who are like, "You kidnapped you kidnapped my sister," and she's like, "What the fuck are you talking? I am an old woman," and you choose what to do.
Okay. No, I haven't come across that yet.
Okay.
Okay. I'll look for that. But first, I have to beat a beholder.
Yeah. Good luck. Good luck with that.
Yeah. When that thing popped out, I'm like, oh, fuck me. Really, a beholder. It's a good thing
So
that
I
D&D, that Wizards of the Coast decided to let that shit not be or either that or they paid the license for it.
well, I'm sure Baldur's Gate paid the license for it because like
Right.
it's
But now
all
you
D and
don't
D
have to
fifth
pay. Oh,
edition.
that's true. It's commercial, so.
Yeah. But yeah, I know like the main story. Um, I guess did you deal with the whole goblin camp and
I'm doing it now.
the
That's how I felt.
druids?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, the
that's
like
I'm looking for the druid. I
yeah, you get to
definitely want
the
the druid.
you get to the druid camp and they're like the lady in charge is like all these fucking outsiders. They're
Yes, I
ruining
got to
things. We're
her.
gonna
Yeah,
close the camp
with her fucking
and
snake, that bitch.
yeah. Um
The snake racist.
I wanted to kill her, but then I
Me too.
found the other druid
See,
before I
that's why I
could.
want to find the other druid because I hate her so much.
Um
So that bitch needs to get slapped down by like right now. That and I don't want all the tieflings to die.
yeah. And so yeah, there's that whole story, and like once you resolve that, you kind of get two choices.
And
They're
I
like,
especially don't want the tieflings to die because I really, really need the merchant who used to be the mechanic, the infernal mechanic, because I need him for
I don't.
Karlach.
Did I find him? I must have found him. Oh
He's
yeah,
there's a
I
yeah.
did. I talked to him. I completed all
You
of
talked to
Karlach's
him, but you
quest as
never
much as I
connected
could.
that he's going to be the one that's going to help Karlach.
I might have, but I probably forgot because this was probably a while ago.
Yeah, I even
Um.
mentioned him to Karlach.
Yeah, you get two choices. They're like, hey, we need to go to this tower. like now that you solve this whole grove issue, we need to go to this tower. You can either get there by going through this forest or by going through the Underdark. And I've heard from like a bunch of other people that you can do both.
Mhm.
You can do one, go all the way through it, get up to the point where you're going to the tower, and then just go back and go through the other location. Um, but I wonder if that Underdark that you go through connects to the Underdark where the Beholder is, right? I assume that
Possible.
these areas have to connect.
They have
That's
to
that's
connect.
why when I got to that gate and I ran around, I was like, oh, the guy, the guy told me I need to go to the Underdog. I will probably find a way to get to the other side of this gate somewhere later.
Right, and that's what the IGN walkthrough said. Like, you'll find it later in
Oh,
Act
okay.
2.
Okay.
And and it was like, "Oh, okay." And then as I'm like, going out, I'm like, "All right, I'm gonna." Oh, another thing, by the way, another hot tip. You can pick up boxes and barrels.
Oh, yes. I have been doing that a lot. Drop those things on vents. Mm.
You can stack them on top of each other, and then you can use them to jump up on things.
Yeah, that's how I got Karlak around the gate.
Yeah. But
Karlak and Lizelle both have just like a stash of boxes in their inventory at all times.
did you come across the let's just say in the just outside the blighted village, there's a barn with strange noises coming out of it?
I had to open it.
I did.
I
I opened
couldn't.
it and then I reloaded and it's like that's a fight I really don't want to do. And then I got Carlatch and it's like, okay, we're going back to take
I
care of that business right
Yeah,
now.
I opened it and I felt so bad that I switched to non-lethal attacks to just knock them out because I was like, I I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I don't want to kill you. You didn't do anything wrong. You were just having fun. I'm gonna try to leave you alive.
So right next to that, if you hop up, there's a little camp with a piece of meat and a magic dagger in it. And if you pass some ability checks, you can get that magic
Oh,
dagger.
yeah, I got that dagger.
Did you see the rock that you can pick up?
No.
There is a giant rock that you can pick up. And I don't know for certain, but I'm assuming that if you make a deal with the ogres in the town to actually help you out, you can call on them and they can throw that rock through the roof.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know that for certain, but
Hmm.
I know it's a big rock that you can. And there's another place right near there where I found a big rock that you can
Hmm.
move.
And
But
like
I
your strength
don't know what
characters
for.
can't interact with it?
They can, but they can't throw it far
Oh,
enough to get
okay.
it through the roof.
Hmm. Did you find the goblins, the guy tied up on the windmill being tortured by the goblins?
Yes, yes. Did
Did
you launch him into space?
I did.
Yeah,
On
I did
accident.
too.
On
Me too.
I found my way to the
No,
back and I was like, "Oh, a lever. This must
a
be the
lever.
brake."
This should slow it down. I expect I'll be seeing him later.
I reloaded the save.
Oh, you
I
did?
reloaded a save to save him, and I killed all the goblins. And he told me, "Oh yeah, they took my backpack, and it's probably nearby." But I looked around and I couldn't find his backpack, so I just wandered
I
off.
I used I used Carlatch to intimidate the shit out of him and make him leave.
Mm. Yeah, the fact that you can launch him is hilarious.
Yeah, that was a big mistake. I laughed and felt bad, but then just kept going. Something I do notice, by the way, you know that there is a karmic dice option?
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah, I just found out about it. I don't know if I'm playing with it or without it, but I will notice because I've had to do a lot of resaves. I know there's supposed to be an RNG for the dice rolls.
Hmm.
I don't think it's RNG.
Then you might be playing with it,
Maybe.
right? Because the whole point of that system is that, hey, if you failed a couple times in a row, it will like lean the odds in your favor for the
Yeah.
next couple rolls.
Yeah. I had one where I really, 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 really wanted to make the skill check. And I loaded, 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 and I never got higher than a 5.
Hmm. Then yeah, maybe that is the comic system turned on.
Yeah. So I need to turn that karmic system off.
Yeah,
It's
I haven't.
incidentally, it's a karmic dice option in the options that it will put the thumb on the scale a little bit for you if you have failed a few checks.
Yeah, or
On
if
the
you
on the
succeed.
other side, if you make a few checks, then it starts to put your thumb on the scale the other direction, which I would rather just have a random number generator. Because I've also had it where I reloaded, like I got a crazy high roll for something. And I reloaded and I got a crazy high roll again. And then I had to reload sometime later. It's like, oh fuck, I didn't save, and I had to go through it again. And I crazy high rolled again. It's like, yeah, that's not so random.
Did you at this point you must have met Scratch?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Is he in your camp?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Has he given you his ball?
Yes.
Yeah, you can play fetch with him.
I haven't played fetch with him yet.
Oh, you can't. You don't get
I
anything.
just got a ball.
Oh yeah, you don't get anything to do it. It's just if you're in the inventory and you do throw, you can throw the ball and then he walks over, picks it up, and brings it back to you.
Can you make him a member of your party?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But wait, you've been to the Goblin Camp. So you've met the Owlbear Cub.
No.
Oh, it's like in the before you go into the area. You know the place in the Goblin Camp where there's the bard there singing. It has a prisoner and
You
there's like
broke him.
You broke him?
Yeah,
Oh,
because
that's right.
I made
That's
fun.
right.
Oh, you broke him. Back to the cages. Well,
Um
I was following. That's what I did. I followed him because I figured that if the Drew is there, he's probably in a cage. So I'm going to follow him. And of course, I lost him. But then it launched me into meeting Gut.
Okay, so have you explored that area outside the camp yet? Okay.
No.
If you do, there's goblins torturing an owlbear cub or just like being mean to it. And hey, if you slaughter all those goblins, then that owlbear cub has no place to go. And you might
Oh,
see
we
him
get a
later.
friend. Cool. I've heard something about licking spiders.
No, I haven't done that.
Yeah, that's later on in the game. They actually patched it out.
Oh, that's too bad. Have you romanced anyone yet?
Not yet, but I'm on the way.
Oh yeah? Who?
Who do you think?
If
Shadowheart
probably
really wants me to romance her, and I'm not gonna. Let's just say that.
probably Gale.
Gale.
I've slept with Shadowheart and Lysel.
Oh, how'd that go?
Fine. That they don't seem upset about it.
Oh, good. All right.
Although it also hasn't really come up.
It's early game.
But
Never
yeah,
know.
no. I'm trying to sleep with Asterion.
Achievement. You have 2 hands for a reason. Pet Scratch and Owlbear Cub at the same time and grow the greatest joy an adventure could ask for.
I got that achievement.
Oh, okay. Do you know there's achievement if you take a long rest and you use only alcohol as your camp resources?
Oh really?
There's an achievement called Bottoms Up.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the long rest stuff is neat because like if you just do a base amount of scavenging, you get a whole bunch of food and stuff for long rest. Like it's
So
not
much food.
really an issue, which
No.
is nice.
No. Yeah, they don't like penalize you for having to take a long rest because I
Yeah.
take a lot of long rests.
And that's good because that seems to be the trigger to a lot of like the character relationships.
Right. Which incidentally, let's wrap this up because I got a character relationship waiting for me with Gale. Chop chop. Places to go. People to do.
We're gonna go kill a beholder and then we're gonna celebrate by fucking Gale.
Yep. Anyway. So yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 is what I played, and on the plane, I did play Baldur's Gate 2 mobile, like when I got on the plane,
Oh,
because there
really?
was so low connectivity. It was very difficult to get anything to work. Baldur's Gate, and it's challenging on a phone. Let's just say that
Yeah,
it's
like
not an optimal experience.
I've looked at that in the App Store a whole bunch because I thought like this would be really cool to be able to play
Hmm.
anytime, but God, it just looks so small.
It is very small. The stylo is actually really good because you actually have a pen, so you can actually be very intentional. But it is not easy to play if you've never played a Baldur's Gate before.
Yeah,
Really not easy to play.
I feel like if I would do that, I would get it from my tablet.
But one game you did tell me to play that I didn't play until I got to Singapore on the way back because of internet connectivity problems, and when I was in Bali, I had a bunch of other stuff to do, was Marvel Snap.
Oh, Jesus.
It's as good as you said it was. It really
So
is.
did you just start like a Snap addiction and a Baldur's Gate addiction?
It's not really an addiction. That's the nice thing about Marvel Snap. It's you can't really get addicted to it because it doesn't last very long.
Yeah.
But yeah, that game is really fun. I'm
Yeah,
doing
right?
really well. I was hoping to go undefeated, but by the time I got to the show, but I did not. I lost twice.
Yeah, get used to it. I
What? Losing
losing.
twice out of like, you know, a many rounds. I'm pretty okay with
Yes.
that.
Yes. Like at a certain point, I don't know like what oh, I forget what they call it. It's not the collection level, but like your monthly rank, right? Once you get up to a certain point, for me, it's like mid 70s. Once I get to mid 70s, I just kind of hit a wall and it's like, boy, I just lost 8 times in a row and I feel real bad about myself.
Yeah.
I don't want to play this anymore today. I think I'm done.
Yep, definitely.
So
All
yeah.
right. So yeah, Marvel Snap is all that. So what did you play?
I mean, people know what I played. I
Yeah.
played Baldur's Gate a lot off stream. I played Walking Dead Saints and Sinners on stream, and like playing that for 2 hours, definitely I started to feel the effects of the VR. But even beyond that, that seems like a really cool game. But it was so directionless that I didn't really know what to do. I felt like I didn't really have a mission to do. I thought it was a roguelike where, you know, I need to go out into a city and collect resources within this amount of time before the zombies show up and then
Hmm.
extract. But I didn't really know what to go to. I didn't really know what to find. I didn't know what I was looking for. I didn't know what I was supposed to build. I got to like my home base and I already had like a whole bunch of guns, a whole bunch of weapons, a whole bunch of things already there. And so I just didn't really feel like it didn't provide me with a good objective, right? It didn't really point me anywhere and say go do this. And so even though I think the whole system is cool of, using the guns, god damn that fucking game. Like you have a gun and there's a zombie coming at you and you shoot and your gun runs out of ammo. Jesus. Trying to go through the actual reload process because all of a
Oh.
sudden it's like bang, bang, bang. Oh, I'm out of ammo. I need to reload. Just like blank. Just like mind wiped. It's like, fuck, how do I reload? It's not a button. I need to grab from somewhere on my waist. What side of my waist? What how do oh shit, now I'm getting attacked. It's So it's funny sort of encountering kind of a whole new gameplay system that I've never experienced in a game before, right? The reloading is usually so easy, and even something like Gears of War that kind of tries to complicate it, uh, it complicates it by just adding another button press. And so having to actually do a complicated series of movements to reload is really interesting in how much that just you can train all you want and the moment you're in the shit, like you forget everything. So even if I didn't really like Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, it does make me really excited to play Resident Evil 4 in VR sometime later,
Mhm.
because I think that game will be a bit more. Uh, it's definitely more objective driven, but I think it's also going to have a very similar reload mechanic.
Possibly.
So yeah,
Probably.
looking forward to that. And there's still like a whole bunch of other. I could probably stream later to other non-horror VR games. I wanted to do horror because was October for Halloween, but
Right. Right.
there's like a multiplayer shooter that I have. There's a puzzle game that I have. There's a oh, what was the other one? Yeah, just a couple other cool VR games that I'm looking forward to. I still like the headset. I'm happy to have it. Um, but yeah, the game it was a little bit too directionless for me.
I was curious. I only got to see one of the streams because that was the only time I was up at 5 o'clock in the morning. But chat room, how did you like the whole like Shocktober of no Edie and nothing but gameplay? Did it work for you?
Yeah, I streamed this, and then it was mostly just Callisto Protocol.
Right.
Which yeah, that was also a game that I think started better than it ended.
Mhm.
It's kind of a poor follow up to Dead Space, and definitely when you compare it to Dead Space, it is lacking. But yeah, that game Callisto Protocol started off fun because it was kind of just a cool haunted house, and then as you went along, and the game tried to get more complicated and it tried to get harder, it lost that sense of haunted house fun and just kind of became a little frustrating. But
Mhm.
that's a fun game that just like you make a wrong turn and all of a sudden there's a monster digging your eyes out. It's like, oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So
Yeah. AC Ray says it was okay for a change, but I prefer the podcast, which I
yeah,
totally
me too.
understand.
Yeah.
I like the podcast better too.
Chunder says we missed you for sure. Full creds to Nick for keeping us entertained. Oh, good. And by the way, Chunder, thank you so much for renewing your subscription with Prime. If you are a Twitch
Hmm.
viewer and you have Amazon Prime and you have not used your subscription, you do get one free subscription on Twitch Prime, or sorry, Amazon Prime for a Twitch channel. If you haven't used yours, please consider us subscribing to us because we would love that. And number one. And number two, if you really, really, really like it and you feel like buying a subscription, we would certainly also appreciate that as well. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell because, yes, that matters a lot.
Do it for the secret cat.
For the secret,
For
the
the
ears.
Wills Waldo cat. Okay.
Where's Joopy? Where's Joopy? So, shall we go to the news because we got a lot of it?
Okay, hang on. I'm trying to get.
That is pretty funny. You just sitting there watching you. Couch cat knows what you're thinking. Wants to eat the back of your head.
Couch cat is watching. Couch cat
Oh,
sees all.
hail, couch cat. All right. So, should we hit the news?
Yeah, let's do the news. AC Wraith had said before that there's a whole month of news in Discord, and thank you because I'll be looking at that since I don't remember what the fuck happened this month. There was some stuff, but yeah, who knows?
Yeah. All right. Well, then let's hit the news. This is Dina Cola, and our first item is.
God, do you know how far I have to scroll back through Discord to get to the end of October? The beginning of October?
Well, I'll start off. So, because I did not look at that at all. I just checked the news. Let's see, what have I got that's important? Layoffs. So many freaking layoffs going on right now. So
Yeah, that's if
it's
anything, the defining story of this year is there are more like top rated games than any other year. This is like I think there was a study on Metacritic. This is literally the best year for video games since Metacritic has been around.
right.
And everybody's getting laid off.
Everybody's getting laid off. Yeah. So, Bungie, laid off. It's sometimes they have like, they're like, oh, they lost 10% of the workforce, 15% of the workforce, whatever. Um, Bungie laid off a bunch of people, and it wasn't all just low level drones. It was some very significant people. They shared on Twitter an official statement regarding layoffs. Um, Today is a sad day at Bungie as we say goodbye to colleagues who have all made a significant impact in the studio. What these exceptional individuals have contributed to our games and Bungie culture has been enormous and will continue to be part of Bungie long into the future. So, among those who have officially, we know now, have lost their jobs is Liana Rupert, who is the Destiny 2 community manager and co-lead of accessibility. She tweeted, "Well, my heart is breaking for all affected. I am now looking for opportunities. I have 21 years of game industry experience in media production and community management. I'm processing. I'm so heartbroken. I don't know what to do from here. This was my home. I feel so lost." Also, another number of other now ex Bungie staff confirmed that they also lost their jobs, including social media lead Griffin Bennett, associate franchise editor Jason Guisau, and Michael Salvatore, who was only by his official website, he was the renowned composer for Destiny and Halo. On his homepage under career rundown, it says "Gone Fishing." So there's speculation that he also lost his job. So yeah, they don't know how many for sure have lost their jobs, but it's a lot.
It's a
This
lot.
was reported by Bloomberg's Jason Schreier. He was the first one to report it, and he's stating on social media that, quote, CEO Pete Parsons emailed the company this morning to say they'll be having a team meeting today to talk about some news today coming out of Bungie, as staff are informed. So that was like the first inkling that we had in the public that this was happening. And of course, it happened.
Yeah, and the layoffs are so bad that they delayed Marathon, their new
Really?
extraction shooter, and they delayed the final DLC for Destiny 2, the final
Really?
shape. So Bungie just they delayed all the stuff they're working on.
Yeah.
And I think what's really hit people about this is this comes after Sony bought Bungie for $3 billion.
Mm-hmm.
And
$3.5 billion.
And
3.2 billion dollars.
And what we know is that 1.2 billion of that purchase was specifically for employee retention so that, people don't leave after Sony bought them. And now people are like, wait, you were saving $1.2 billion for employee retention, and now you laid off so much of your staff that you had to delay your everything that you're working on. And it just kind of boggles the mind. Like, what is going on in this industry that truly there is something unsustainable.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, and that was when did Sony buy them? In 2022, so not even a year ago.
No,
probably just over a year ago.
Yeah. Maybe that's they want to retain the employees for a year, and then they're like, we don't need you.
We took $1.2 billion, we retained them for a year. Bye-bye. We'll just keep the rest.
Yeah,
because there's no way that they spent $1.2 billion on people.
No, like the
They
point of
pocketed it.
the point of that was, hey, we're gonna buy your company for this much money. We don't want, hey, Sony just bought our company. Well, I don't know if I want that. I don't want to work here anymore. So the 1.2 billion was, we're going to give this out over a period of time to employees as a way to encourage them to stay with the company.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but Bungie also got out there and said these layoffs happened because the player base for Destiny 2 dropped by like 42%.
Right.
And it's a little worrying because the talk is that the reason Sony bought Bungie was to help them with their live service games. Because Sony makes great story driven single player games. That is what they are known for, the prestige story driven single player games. The Horizons, The Last of Us, The Gods of War, The Spider-Mans, all those shits. They don't quite have the multiplayer live service game.
Right.
So they bought Bungie to help them with that. And the talk is that Bungie took a look at the multiplayer Last of Us game that Naughty Dog was working on, said, this isn't working. And now that game is kind of internally delayed indefinitely. And now Bungie itself is like, yeah, we need to delay everything. People aren't playing Destiny anymore. It's like, wow,
And Naughty
Sony,
Dog also had layoffs because of that.
yeah.
Both
It's like,
Naughty
well,
Dog and
Sony,
Visual Arts, who are also is another PlayStation studio.
so yeah, Sony bought this company to help them with live service games, and now the company they bought to help them with live service games is struggling with their live service game.
Right.
It's
Yeah, it's concerning. And another also announced was Media Molecule, best known for Little Big Planet. They've laid off 15% of its overall workforce, which is not nearly as much. It's 20 people, but they only have 135 staff members. So now they're down to 150.
yeah. At least Media Molecule to me makes a little bit more sense because
They haven't had a huge hit in a while.
they haven't had used it. They put out Dreams a while ago, but that never really took off, and it never got ported to PS5.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of up in the air what they're working on now.
Right.
So at least that makes sense as opposed to fucking Bungie.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah,
And that was just this week, right? If we look back through the past month, there's more and more news is about layoffs.
Right. Yeah, and all for a various different reasons. All of them, some of them better than others. Sorry, my back is starting to give me a hard time here. Yeah, I fucked up my back in Bali as well. Yay
No,
me.
that sucks.
But yeah, it was one thing. If it was one reason why all of these companies are struggling, that would be one thing. But it's all for different reasons. Take, for example, God dang it, Swedish company got fucked over by the
Embracer.
Saudis. Hmm?
Embracer.
Embracer companies. Good point. First and foremost, they've had a lot of layoffs, but that was because they got fucked over by the Saudis. So yeah, it's a sad time, but hopefully it'll bounce back. I think that they just need to rethink the way that they've been doing business.
I mean, yeah,
If you can't make something like Destiny long term, profitable and sustainable with the people that you have, then that's a problem.
yeah, like from the sound of it, a lot of these companies, they staffed up during the pandemic. Um, and we're seeing the fruits of those labors with all the good games coming out. But it seems like all that stuff is unsustainable, right? Like even though you make a game that sells really well, it just it's not going to be enough. And I think the question now is what is enough? Like how many copies does Spider-Man need to sell to prevent Sony from laying off a bunch of other people? And yes,
Right.
they're different developers, right? Spider-Man was made by Insomniac, Bungie had nothing to do with it. But
But
there's
still,
there's
it's
still
indicative of a systemic problem within the industry, not necessarily, isolated to one studio.
yeah,
Otherwise, we would only be hearing about one or two studios. It's a lot of
yeah,
studios.
and they're owned by the same person. Um, I know earlier, and I don't know if it just happened in October, but there was a studio. I forget the name. It was like Me, and they made a bunch of like niche but really super high quality top down stealth games.
Hmm.
And they just released a new one called Shadow Gambit. Like great reviews across the board. Even the two previous games they put out, great reviews across the board. They said that Shadow Gambit didn't sell well enough. They decided to shut down the studio of their own accord, right? They just said, look, man, we can't do this anymore. We can't like make this our livelihood. It's too stressful. And so when a niche developer that is like firing on all cylinders at the top of their game in this niche market,
Right.
when they choose to voluntarily bow out of the industry, it's not like they closed. They weren't like, you know, the president of EA is like, we're cutting costs by closing the studio. They just decided this is too stressful. We
Yeah.
need to leave.
Yeah.
Like that's not a good. It's not a good industry.
Yeah. AC Ray says, I was worried about Claire Blackshaw, but apparently she left Media Molecule a while ago and is working on Adobe's VR sculpting app modeler.
That makes sense because Dreams was like a whole VR project too.
Mm-hmm. All right. So next item.
Well, we talked about Sony. Let's go to Microsoft. Microsoft had some restructuring in the wake of, restructuring in the wake of their acquisition of Activision.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, they kind of shifted the whole things around. The bigger news story is that now Bethesda and ZeniMax are now under. Fuck, I forgot his name. I need to open this. But previously, those studios, ZeniMax and Bethesda, were not included in the Xbox Game Studios wing. Like
Mhm.
when you consider how it's structured, ZeniMax and Bethesda were not reporting to the person in charge of Xbox Game Studios. They were kind of independent. Now that Redfall came out, didn't really set the world on fire. And now that Starfield came out and sold like gangbusters, but also didn't really set the world on fire, those studios are being put under Xbox Game Studios. Are you okay? Are you okay, Edie? It looks like you're falling asleep.
Sorry.
Do you need to go take a nap?
Yes, but I can't. Sorry.
Do you
Sorry. I need
want
to
to get
stand
a
up. I
coffee?
need to stand up. Keep talking. I'm listening. I'm just doing exercises now. Let me do some deep knee bends while you talk so that
You
I
want
can
to
actually stay awake.
do some jumping jacks?
All right. What were you saying, Nick, about what? What were
Uh,
you talking about restructuring?
basically, Bethesda and ZeniMax are now part of Xbox Game Studios from an internal hierarchy perspective, which
Mhm.
means they're no longer quite as independent. Which
Right.
means that like after the Redfall debacle, Microsoft is shortening the leash on ZeniMax. They're not quite
Yeah.
allowing them the same level of independent freedom. It's like, hey, clearly we can't trust you to do this, so we need to. You now report to me, right?
Mhm.
You didn't report to me before, but now you do.
Right. They want they learned their lesson and not just buy something and let it go. They've learned their lesson to have a little more control over the wheel. Maybe they're not behind the wheel, but they're certainly in the passenger seat, kind of watching how it's being driven.
Yeah.
Don't mind me. Just trying to stay awake. This is my life now for at least a couple of weeks. Well,
Okay,
it's
let's
like
see.
it's super warm in here, and I've got like a nice warm fuzzy shirt on right now. Anyway, so yeah, I'm glad that they've got some oversight because you and I both know that there have been problems with not just Sony and not just Microsoft, but other companies as well, making these really, really big purchases and then just assuming that they could walk away and be absentee landlords. And it's never gone well. It might have gone well in the short term, but it doesn't go well in the long term.
I mean, it depends on the studio, right? It's fine for something like Double Fine, not so fine
Yeah.
for whatever the State of Decay developer
Right, but
is, who
there's
still
not a
hasn't
lot of
put out.
they didn't spend billions and billions to buy Double Fine, and Double Fine doesn't have these massive AAA titles. They have great titles, but there's a level of demand on Activision that and Activision King, I'm having brain cramps these days. That whole company, they Double Fine doesn't have that kind of stress. It doesn't have that kind of demand on it because it doesn't have all the titles all the balls up in the air all the time.
Yes,
Like
yes,
Activision has to because it's such a big studio.
yes, it's just an issue of like, can you leave a studio to take care of themselves? And like,
Right.
it's not even just a big thing like Activision. Like I said, whoever did State of Decay, they haven't put out State of Decay 3, and they've been working on that for a while, but there have been reports of that studio like not knowing what they're doing.
Yeah, they're faltering. State of Decay 2 wasn't all that great. I mean, it was good, but it wasn't all that great. State of Decay 1 was because it was the first time and it was flawed, but at least it had a good heart. The second one, you kind of didn't get the same pass with those same kind of flaws. I gotta go get some water or else I really am gonna fall asleep. So keep talking. I'm listening. I'm just
Okay.
can't talk. So what's the next item?
Some other like, this is more recent news. The Modern Warfare 3 came out, and apparently, Call of Duty, you don't really see a whole lot of reviews of the multiplayer, and it seems like a lot of outlets now are separating those. They're reviewing the single player and reviewing the
Right.
multiplayer.
Right.
Apparently, the single player campaign for Call of Duty 3 or Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 is like one of the worst reviewed in the franchise history. It's just getting trashed. I think the IGN review for the Modern Warfare 3 campaign is the same as Redfall. So
Wow.
it kind of gives you some perspective that
For a year that's been some of the best year in gaming, it also has some of the worst.
oh yeah, we got that.
Gollum,
in October,
King Kong,
there was the King Kong game that came out. Gollum, definitely. So yeah,
Redfall. I'm gonna say it right here. Starfield.
I would not include Starfield in that category. I'm not the biggest fan of it,
Yeah.
but it's not at that
now
same
that
level.
now that I'm not playing Starfield, I realize how bad Starfield really is.
See, maybe it was good that I stopped playing when I did.
Yeah, maybe it was bad I bought the collector's edition.
Look, the
It's a
watch is still cool.
cool watch.
The watch,
best-
the box with the
The best thing about Starfield was the collector's edition.
yeah,
The
like,
swag.
look, man, that stuff's still cool regardless of the game.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I got something for it. That's the nice thing about those physical collector's editions. You actually, even if the game sucks, you get something for it. It's those digital collector's editions that just suck ass.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go get some water. Just keep talking about Modern Warfare getting trashed.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really know how much more there is to say about it. Just that, yeah, it feels like it was rushed. I guess the campaign tried to do something new. It, instead of just having linear levels, which Call of Duty is mainly known for, it tried to have these open areas, kind of like something that Battlefield Bad Company did way back in the day, where you had a larger area that you kind of explore at your own pace. Objectives make you go from point A to point B, but you're in a wider open area that you can kind of choose how you approach each objective. And apparently those universally suck. Everyone says they suck. They say that it just feels like an empty Warzone map. So, like, kudos for Call of Duty for trying something different, but apparently, uh, everything that they tried different didn't work, and then everything that they did same as before, like the linear levels, are just kind of generic and feel like a greatest hits of everything that came before. So, you know, original levels where they stuck to the formula, and then everything new is bad. And so, yeah, it's just getting trashed left and right. And that's only the campaign, though. I don't know about the multiplayer. But I guess speaking of digital games, Alan Wake 2 came out within the October timeframe, only on digital. Remember, that's the game that has no physical version. And that I have not played it yet. But that one has the complete opposite, where it's been met with rave reviews and even some people saying like it's game of the year material. So another example of a great game. In case there weren't enough great games this year, Alan Wake 2, add that to the list. So, yeah, for
I
for as
got
much
my
as
stein of Diet Coke. This should be fine.
okay, so
And I
yeah,
get
for as much as Modern Warfare 2 is bad, Alan Wake 2 came out and was getting rave reviews and is high praised left and right. So you get the good with the bad.
and you get to be witness to taking one of my last anti-malaria drugs.
Oh. Also, speaking of the bad, and this is one from this week. On October 31st, back up. Konami had that whole Silent Hill presentation. And one of the things that they announced was a game called Silent Hill Ascension, which was like the multiplayer, story driven, choose your own adventure game where there would be like an episode each day and people in the chat could vote on what happens next.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
That started on October 31st, and apparently everyone hates it. Everyone is like, this is terrible. The chat seems to be completely unmoderated. There's a headline on Kotaku: Silent Hill game disables chat after too many posts about cum.
Oh, I'm so glad it was only cum.
So yeah, like being involved in the chat is not good. And I guess the way the game is structured,
Mhm.
it's got like kind of a battle pass where you as an audience member can make a decision, can vote on what happens next by using influencer points. And I guess you get a set number of influencer points for signing up, like to be part of this,
Mhm.
but then you have to buy them. And there's also like a battle pass that's
Oh,
involved.
no.
There's like a battle pass involved, and it's not quite clear exactly what. Basically, it's a whole bunch of live service mechanics added on top of a Telltale game that they then tried to make multiplayer. And
Well,
a
it's
lot
kind
of
of
it
like super chats with Twitch.
and a lot of it's just really confusing. And I guess what the developers said is when you vote on what happens, you don't see that result in the next episode. You have to wait several days because they still need to put together the next episode. So
Right.
not only are you dealing with a terrible chat, a weird monetization scheme, but then when you do take part and you do engage with the game, you don't really see the results of that until days later. Couple that with the fact that it's putting out an episode a day, and the episodes are only like 15 minutes, but that's still a lot for
Right.
something that's not being um received very well. Trying to engage with it on a daily basis is a little rough. So we'll have to see what happens. The developer has said that they promise this will go on for months, but considering how it's been received, who knows how
Mhm.
long it will really last.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that's a sucky thing, but it I can almost guarantee you that somebody's I mean, just look at that headline. free to play disaster with some promising ideas,
Mm-hmm.
which
And
means
it
that
like,
that's not the last one we're going to see. It's not
oh
like
no,
the whole Netflix choose your own adventure thing that they did once and then stopped doing.
and like
This is something they're
that's
going to do again because there's money involved.
yeah, and I hope Netflix continues with that stuff because it was interesting. And yeah, like
Not in our lifetime.
when I had first brought up this idea of like a multiplayer Telltale game, you even said, "Oh, that sounds cool."
Hmm.
Like there's this potential here. It's just
Yeah,
that
they monetize the fuck out of it in the wrong way.
yeah, this is not the game to take advantage of it.
Right. Hey, speaking of Netflix, good
Yes.
news, guys. Netflix is raising their prices again in the wake of getting 8.8 million new subscribers in the last quarter, thanks to their crackdown on sharing of passwords. Netflix has now announced that it is going to be raising prices on its basic package in the US, the UK, and in France. Um, the basic tier, which isn't available for people anymore, but if you are in the UK and you are on a basic tier, you were legacied in, you're going to be paying £7.99 a month, which is £1 more than it was before. The premium plan is now £17.99, which is a £2 increase from before. In the US, the basic plan is going up from $11.99 a month to $9 from $9.99 a month. So they've added $2 to the basic plan, and it's going to be going up $2 for as well for the premium plan. $19.99 a month for premium. It's going up to $22.99. In France, it was €10.99. It's going up to €19. I'm sorry, I take that
Wow.
back. In my bad. In France, the basic plan is €10.99 and the will be €10.99, and the premium
Mm.
plan will be going up to €19.99. Um, if you are it's not going to affect all users. If you're subscribed to the standard tier as opposed to the basic tier, it's not going to affect you.
That's where I am.
Yeah.
They
But
already
standard or
raised the
basic?
prices on the standard, I think earlier this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So now they're just raising the price, the premium and the basic. I'm on
Yeah.
premium, so I really should downgrade because I don't need premium anymore because I don't
Yeah, like
have multiple sets anymore.
premium gives you 4K streaming, but
Mhm.
honestly, like the streaming bandwidth lessens that 4K. So even if you're paying for 4K, you don't really see it because it's
Right.
streaming.
Right. Don't have a 4K TV. Yeah, I do have a 4K TV. I take it back. I do have a 4K TV, but what do I stream? Anime and K dramas.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not using the 4K, so it's not that big a deal. And if I hate it, I can always like switch back over. It's not that big a deal.
Oh, also, one good thing, if you want to justify staying on Netflix at least for a week or so,
Hmm.
Castlevania Nocturne, the new Castlevania series, came out in October, and it remains shockingly good.
Oh, good to know.
Like, yeah, I was worried that after the writer left, after like issues of sexual harassment and stuff,
Right.
uh, if that the quality would go down, but it does not. That series, like, it's completely new characters, completely new time frame, completely new location, but it manages to still be like well written characters, great action, like deep, thoughtful examinations of themes, slavery, colonialism, things like that. Yeah, Castlevania continues to be like a step above most other stuff on Netflix.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to going back to that. It was kind of like the greatest kick in the balls for me was that I got Kevin into anime,
Mm-hmm.
or at least, not seeing them just as cartoons or like, The Simpsons or and
Yeah, like comedy shows.
yeah, comedy or yeah, he was always okay with animated comedy, but never was okay with animated like s- serious stuff.
Hmm.
And I convinced him. I actually had like practically had to sit on his lap and hold him down to watch Castlevania, and he loved it. Loved it. And it was like, see, anime is good. You should try it more often. We should now go on to Death Note. I watched an episode of Cowboy Bebop, and he was like, I could see this. I'm like, yeah, good. And then yeah. So yeah, I'm glad that it's out, and I am looking forward to binge watching that as well.
Yeah. And looking through the past news, speaking of inflation, speaking of like prices going up,
Mm-hmm.
I guess V-Bucks in Fortnite, the prices are getting raised because of, Epic says, specifically because of inflation. So inflation. But 1,000 V-Bucks originally cost you $8. Now will only cost you $9. 2,800 V-Bucks originally $20, now cost 23. 5,000 was 32, now costs 37. And then like 13,000 was originally 80, now costs 90. So it's not a huge increase, but I do think this is the first time we've seen like prices on microtransactions go up in a live service game in response to, or at least what they justify as economic changes.
Doesn't surprise me. I think that Fortnite is probably going to be the first of many.
Mm. Yeah,
Especially for games that already have an established base that they know that that their user base can withstand an extra buck or two. They're going
yeah.
to be doing that.
AC Wraith brings this up. Speaking of anime, Attack on Titan ended yesterday. The
No.
series is finally done, which means after watching season 1 and then stopping because
Yes, me too.
I'm like, man, this is really good, but I don't want to have to wait between each season. That was like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I can now finally start watching it.
Yeah, maybe we should have watch parties to watch Attack on Titan on the Discord server because we can't do it obviously on Twitch or on YouTube. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, because I same thing. I watched the first season and then I stopped, and I probably would have to watch the first season over again to
Oh
catch
yeah,
myself
yeah.
back up again with it.
I totally would.
Yeah. Hey, AC Wraith is, or sorry, I mean, Chaos is back. How are you?
Hey.
Author said he added extra scenes at the end of the anime that go beyond what the manga did. Hmm.
Okay, well, I don't know how it ends, but I've heard people were upset.
Yeah.
Not at the anime, at the manga. That like I guess it ended in a rather controversial way. I heard the word fascism thrown around, which makes me like really intrigued.
Really?
It's like, boy, the ending of Attack on Titan is weirdly pro-fascist. I was like, what the fuck? So I'm still very curious about that. I want to see it. And now
Me
that
too.
it's over, we can finally start.
Yeah. Immediately, Edie. Immediately. Which one? The Attack on Titan or on Castlevania? I think you mean Attack on Titan.
Mm,
Yeah, just what I need on top of my Baldur's Gate addiction and my inability to sleep is to get myself involved in Attack on Titan.
yeah, a 5-season.
Oh,
Yeah,
calling me
not just
AC Wraith. I'm sorry. I was looking over and I read what I saw. Look, AC, Chaos. I have already fallen asleep once on the stream. So no, just get off my crack. All right. Okay. Next item is um. Let's see. We already did that one. You already didn't.
Now I'm
Hey,
trying to think
speaking
of
of,
what else came out.
well, you know what else you're going to be able to get is you're going to be able to get the free games for November.
Hmm.
Here are your Game Pass titles for November coming up on Xbox Game Pass.
Oh yeah, I thought I think I read the gist I got from headlines is that November for Game Pass looks really good.
November Game Pass looks really good.
November for the PS Plus Essentials level, which is just like the base level, look real bad.
Yeah. So yeah, Game Pass tomorrow, Football Manager 2024 for both the console and PC versions. And then after that, on November 9th, we're going to get a ton of games. First, Dungeons 4, Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name.
Yeah, that's like the new Yakuza.
Right. That's also coming on November 9th. And Omega Force's take on Monster Hunter, Wild Hearts, is also coming out on the 9th.
Oh, Wild Hearts. That could be cool. That was a multiplayer. Like, that was EA's Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
And I heard relatively good things about it.
Yep. And it is on cloud console and PC. Then, November 13th, you're going to get Spirity, which is on cloud console and PC, of course. That is kind of like a life sim that's sort of inspired by Stardew Valley and Spirited Away, where you run a bathhouse, I think it is.
Yeah,
A Japanese
not
bathhouse.
not related to Spirit Farer.
Not related to Spirit Bearer, Spirit T-E-A, all one word, Spirity. Also, you're going to see titles like City Skylines 2 and the Dead Space remake showing up there as well.
That's cool. Dead Space remake is a nice one.
And City Skylines 2, I mean, I didn't go into it. It's not for a game that was about as anticipated as any game could be in the PC space. Not great reception so far. Everybody says it's kind of a half-done game.
Oh,
which they kind of got a free pass because it's a really small team of like 20 people did City Skyline 1, and they improved on it to make it just like amazing. They got that pass because it was A, small team, B, new IP. They're not getting that same pass that they got the first time, and a lot of people are complaining that it is a incomplete game. It's not finished. Now, will they finish it? Absolutely. No question they're going to finish it. But for right now, I've heard it is disappointed more than it has delighted, so to speak.
That's unfortunate.
Yep. So yeah, there you go. There's some free games that you don't have to be disappointed in because they're all for free. And if you don't like them, you can just delete them and no blood, no foul.
Yeah. Speaking of Game Pass games, one that came out in October, Cocoon, kind of came out of nowhere to be like one of the best, I guess, puzzle games on Game Pass. It's a game from an ex-Limbo developer, and I have heard nothing but rave wild praise for it.
Huh. Speaking of puzzle games, what was that game that you convinced me to get on mobile that was like a crossword, but it was like tiles you put together? Bonza. Yeah, that's what I played on the way over. Well, it's pretty good. That actually works on the plane.
Yeah, because that doesn't need an internet connection.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pulling up what come on, you can do it. I'm trying to pull up what Cocoon looks like, but it's having a hard time. There we go. So yeah, I guess
yeah, I really want to try this. I'm trying to tear myself away from Baldur's Gate 3 and other games.
Don't just get over it. It's just,
Baldur's Gate 3
is just going to own us for a while.
I've spent the past month like playing the game in bits and pieces like for 2 hours a night for the past month. I want to like play some other things. I have a backlog of other games growing and growing.
Yeah, but you did the same thing with whatchamacallit. With
Elden Ring?
Elden Ring.
Yeah, but Elden Ring, there wasn't so many other good things coming out at the
That's
same
true.
time.
It's kind of
I
bad timing for us, especially in November because there's like now we're starting to hit all of like the premium games for Christmas.
I need to play Alan Wake. I need to play Alan Wake.
It's getting really good reviews too.
It is. It's getting super great reviews.
Yeah.
And oh, you know what? Thank you for bringing up Elden Ring, because one
Mhm.
of the things that also happened while you were gone is that the luxury fashion brand Arc 8 uh, decided to do a collaboration with Elden Ring to make like high-end luxury fashion stuff based on Elden Ring. And it looks okay. It's like, hey, do you want to spend $300 for a hoodie that says tarnished on it? Or what is this one? A $370 white cotton shirt dress that has
Arc 8 ARCH or ARC?
ARC. No, ARK. ARK backslash 8. Yeah, it's like, hey, here's a $1,700 jacket. Here's a $300 t-shirt, hoodie. It's the kind of thing you expect from like a high fashion collaboration, and the game stuff is like, well, okay, I guess I kind of see how that relates to Elden Ring. Sure, let's put the map on a sweater.
$1,000.
Yeah, and what's crazy is that that map, they put the map on the sweater. That looks like something that you would get on one of those t-shirt manufacturers that trolls Twitter looking for images people like.
I don't know.
And
That's pretty cool though.
yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a graphic t-shirt.
No, it's a satin shirt for $425.
Oh, okay, it's a graphic shirt. It's a fucking graphic t-shirt. That's $370.
It is pretty. It is really nice. 3/4 sleeve. Sloped pockets. Kind of nice.
Mhm. I'm sure it's high quality material, like, I'm sure. And you know what? I'm glad that the high fashion world is noticing Elden Ring. Although I do take issue with the fact that, see, that at least looks like the kind of clothing that fits Elden Ring. Because if a high fashion brand wants to make like Elden Ring inspired clothing, I don't want to see a t-shirt. I want to see those costumes come to life. I want to see like some cosplay craziness.
Yeah, true.
I want to see a
Okay.
shirt where one of the
That's only
long sleeves is
$1,700.
just a dragon head.
Yeah. How about that one? Pre-stressed and everything.
Yeah, that's totally worth about the price of a PS5.
$235.
Okay, half the price of a PS5.
There we go. Boss Door t-shirt. There's your t-shirt.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. It's
No, that doesn't even look like a good.
$145.
Yeah. I'm sure some of those are better than the others, but that's just kind of a weird, funny, outside the box collaboration.
That is kind of cool though. But still, you wouldn't know that it was Elden Ring until it's just a little like thing down here. Yeah. It's this is just flexing to spending money because you can, not because you should.
Mm-hmm.
For that much money, I'd rather have just Elden Ring um like figurines.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next item is let's see what I need to say. Yes, says I hate that. Oh my god, I hate that shirt so much. Oh yeah, you can enjoy it all here. Uh, and he says, Blood Reaper says, "Welcome to gaming. There's always more games to play." Chaos says, "I'm excited for Alan Wake 2. I just got to work through the other Remedy games." Yeah, no kidding.
You don't have to play them first. You can jump into Alan Wake 2.
Mm,
No, you can. You
yeah,
can.
I mean you can, but
Like it's designed that way.
yeah, true. All right, so my next item is so when was the last time Atari was in the news? Atari's in the news.
Okay.
Atari, believe it or not, has bought another development studio. Here's the crazy thing. I didn't even know they bought one, but apparently they've bought more. So they've entered an agreement to acquire Digital Eclipse. And they say that this is designed to help Atari increase its focus on growth through retro-inspired titles. So the deal is probably going to close in the next couple of days, and Atari is going to pay $20 million for the studio. If you're not familiar with Digital Eclipse, I am not, but they are known for the remasters of some classic titles like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Cowabunga Collection, and the Disney Classic Games Collection. This is the second studio to my knowledge, that Atari has purchased. They also recently purchased Night Dive Studios. They're the ones who did
Really?
System Shock Remake.
Huh.
So it looks like
Atari bought them.
Atari bought them.
That's
What
crazy.
they're trying to do is they're trying to turn themselves into a retro game / remake, juggernaut. They've got the IPs, and these other companies can actually do something with them, which is not a bad idea.
Yeah, the
Done
System
right.
Shock, the System Shock remake that Night Dive recently did actually got really good reviews. Like it came out as being a worthy remake of that game.
Yeah.
Other things that happened in the past month, Sony, I think they released it. At least they started showing pictures of the new PlayStation Slim, which is it's not an upgraded version of the console. It's just like we got with every other console cycle except the last one. It's just the slim version. And this is the controversy here is that the diskless version of the PlayStation 5 Slim is actually $50 more expensive than the diskless version of the normal PlayStation 5 Slim. So it's a slimmer console version that's $50 more expensive. They're also selling a disk drive that can attach to the diskless PS5 in case you're having buyer's remorse and you want discs again. The unfortunate thing about that is it doesn't require a constant online internet connection, but it does require an internet connection to do an initial handshake pairing with the console, which kind of comes into question in like 10 years. If you have a discless PS5 and you buy this disc version, like, is that still going to matter? Or is this external disc just going to become the new HD drive that the Xbox 360 had back in the day?
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I think that eventually we are going to see, and I haven't really delved into the whole uh, um, slim details, but from what I've been reading is that the design of this slim makes one think that the disk drives are about to become a thing of the past, which doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. Although thankfully, there is a disc version of the PS5 Slim. At least as far as I'm
Yes.
aware. unlike the next Xbox that we saw in the internal leak documents, which will not have any disc version.
Right.
Fun news. We can just have like fun, goofy news. In October, we learned some sales data for September. Do you want to know how many Wii U's were sold in September? Yeah,
Wii U's?
Wii U's.
The new one or the old one?
The old one, the Wii U, not the Switch, not the Wii, the Wii U.
The Wii U, the thing that I gave you to make you play.
But yes.
I gave it away. It was such a trash heap of a God. Really? People are even one was too many.
One. And what makes this extra funny, one new Wii U was sold in September. And that's the first time a Wii U unit has been sold since May 22.
That's funny.
Someone out there is like,
one person bought a Wii U.
And they bought it new.
Yeah, I couldn't give it away.
No, you could.
You got it. I did. I gave it away. Did you
ever
ever play it? I think you pulled it out, you plugged it in, and that was the last time it's seen the light of day.
No, I played Little Inferno on it.
That was the only game that was good on it.
And I played that zombie game, Zombie U.
Zombie U.
And that's it. But you know what's funny? I still have it.
Of course you do. If you ever sell it, you've got to give it back.
Oh, okay.
You've got to give it back. That's the only right thing to do.
In my bedroom closet, along with my PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and Xbox 360.
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking at the BioWare Gear page. Oh, damn it.
Do they have any more statues that they discontinued after?
I wish they did. I was hoping it might come back. Oh, come on, dudes. Look at this. Come on. Oh, look at this. The Grave Warden bundle. Look at this thing. It's actually a chalice.
A big old goblet. Is that a thing for letters?
Yes, it is. It's a letter actually in it.
What is that called? It's not a stamp. Like it is a stamp, but it's not a stamp. What's it? A bundle ritual, brave fans forsworn. Joining chalice, letter, paper. Oh no, wait, scroll back down. Letter, double-sided heat transfer, rolled and put inside a
scroll case.
No, what is the vial is sealed and cannot be reopened? What's it called? The things that you use to stamp to close a letter. It's not called a stamp. It's called something else.
Wax? You mean the wax seal?
Yeah, I guess wax seal. That's what I was. Yeah. I would get that more. What
you do with a signet ring?
I like the chalice. If they were selling just the chalice, I might be more tempted.
Yeah, but no, just think of it as selling the chalice, and then that's like, everything else is a bonus.
Oh, is there like an Elden Ring chalice that I could buy? I would get that.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of a cool little package. Scroll case, necklace, which is, I guess, your phylactery with the sealed blood. Joining chalice. That's kind of cool. What is it made out of? Stainless steel. Oh, it says stainless steel cup inside, so it must not be steel. It's plastic on the outside, stainless steel on the inside.
That makes sense, right? That's what you're.
It's a Go cup. It's a really bad Go cup. Yeah.
Oh, it's a little bit too late, but I started looking for like Elden Ring chalices, and then I was looking for Baldur's Gate chalices, but then I found someone is selling a Shadowheart camp Halloween costume.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the costume she has on in camp has a Halloween costume. And I was
Oh,
like, "Oh,
nice.
that's actually really clever."
Chenderbox says, "I'm surprised they could find a new Wii U floating around." Yeah, I know. I'm surprised they even make new Wii U's. I was semi-interested until the plastic reveal. Yeah, I mean, it's probably, plastic on the outside or and then stainless steel on the inside. What are you gonna ask for $95? I mean, a solid stainless steel cup would be a lot more expensive than $95.
Yes, I want a classic chalice.
Yeah. Um, trying to see what's on sale. If anything's good on sale. Anyway, let me go to my next item. Since I am not done and I'm already like this is the exhaustion where my brain is not keeping any thoughts and English is getting hard. So what I got? Game Pass Atari. Oh, hey, a big reveal. Courtesy of a very short video that needed to be decoded. But looks like that Amazon's Fallout series is going to debut on in April 12th, 2024.
Okay.
So the announcement came by a teaser on that they posted to, I'm calling it Twitter because fuck Elon Musk. He makes great cars, but no, not good social media. He posted it to Twitter, or they posted it to Twitter. It was just a short little teaser video that if you look, it looks like a Pip-Boy booting up, but within the lines of the green text that you see scroll up the screen, you will see very briefly something that looks a very stylized version of the word kilter. Well, Kilter is the name of the film company that is doing the live action series. And then it comes up with the date 041224. So, April 12th, 2024, looks like is when the Amazon Prime TV show is going to debut.
And I think it's worth noting that comes from Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy, who did Westworld, who did Person of Interest. So I'm very curious to see what that show is, just because of that pedigree behind it.
Right. Yeah. Oh man, they have a Mass Effect N7 onesie and it's on sale. Come on.
Oh,
Who doesn't want to wear this? Come on, look at that. Look at that Mass Effect onesie.
okay, that doesn't look too bad.
Yeah. Looks like it's actually nice and comfy. And it's $50. It's on sale. And I can say I bought a t-shirt and sweatpants set. Those sweatpants are fucking awesome. Those are the
Okay.
best sweatpants I've ever owned. Hands down. Best thick, well made. And it's they're embroidered, and I honestly want another set. If they have those go on sale again, I'm buying another set. Because their sweatpants are really good.
One piece of news that you will be happy about, that in fact everyone is happy about, even if it doesn't mean a whole lot. After the Unity debacle, John Riccitiello is now gone as the Unity CEO. He was booted out effective immediately.
Really?
And he's replaced with just like some generic suit from one of the venture capitalist company that owns a lot of stock in Unity. So, like, who knows if the guy who replaced him is going to be any better? But you know what?
Couldn't be worse. That man is a
Yes, John Riccatello was out, and the gaming
Evil
industry
incarnate.
rejoiced.
Evil incarnate, that man is. Absolutely knows how to take a good thing and destroy it. And destroy and just not only destroy it, he is a wizard at abusing devoted fans. He really, really, really knows how to go low. Heartless. So I'm glad. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Although you best your bottom dollar there was a golden parachute at that got
Oh,
get ripped
yes.
out of that one, which makes me so mad that incompetent fuckwits like him could have to, they succeed by failing upwards. So,
Okay. I've got one more like kind of interesting one.
let's see. Let me follow up with something else about somebody else who is leaving the industry. And it is a bit of an end of an era kind of announcement. Pete Hines is leaving Bethesda.
Oh, that's right.
That's to me is insane that he's leaving. But yeah, it was announced that he's retiring from Bethesda via a tweet on his personal account. He said, quote, "After 24 years, I've decided my time at Bethesda Softworks has come to an end. I'm retiring and will begin an exciting new chapter of my life, exploring interests and passions, donating my time where I can, and taking more time to enjoy life. This was not a decision I came to easily or quickly, but after an amazing career culminating in the incredible launch of Starfield, wah, wah, it feels like he did not say wah wah. It feels like the time is right." So yeah, he's not, he's still going to be around, but he is no longer going to be the big honcho, the head of publishing at Bethesda, which seems like it's a good time to go. I mean, Bethesda's now firmly in the hands of its new mother, Lord and Savior, Xbox. And he's been 24 years. It's a
Yeah.
really long time to work for a company.
And honestly, it makes sense that he would choose now to leave because Starfield just came out, right?
Mhm.
Like one of the biggest projects Bethesda has been working on for the past several years. Now that that's out the door, it's either you leave now or you spend the next 8 years working on
Right.
uh, Elder Scrolls 6.
Right. Right. Exactly. You got to time it right. And titles take so long to make. You have to really make your decisions of whether you stay or go, especially if you're in that kind of position where you know you'll never get fired. You have to make the decision based on what your cycle is, what the development cycle is.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure he probably was already involved with Elder Scrolls 6 because that's already well underhand. But I think that it was probably known by some of the people with C's at the beginning of their titles. Already knew that he was probably going to leave after Starfield, simply because yeah, there really isn't a break between games. There's a lull
Yes.
only.
Yeah.
As one ramps down, one releases, the next one starts to ramp up immediately. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of shitty people in this industry, a lot of incompetent people in this industry. Pete Hines is neither. He was one of the good ones. So I hope whoever takes over at least keeps in that spirit of not being an asshole, other than crunching your people, because Bethesda's crunch is real. But then again,
Yeah, I guess
everybody's crunch is real.
we haven't heard any like big stories about terrible culture at Bethesda.
Mm-mm. It's one of the few ones
Yeah.
that you BioWare is another one. It's one of the few ones where you don't really hear about terrible culture, but more so with Bethesda, that they treat, in general, by industry standards, they treat their people very well.
Yeah.
By other industries, maybe not so much, but certainly within an industry that is rife with people abusing their workers, They didn't abuse them, which is it's a low bar to say. They didn't beat the slaves, but they were still slaves. They were the nicest ones. And so I hope that whoever takes over that's the head of publishing will continue in that same vein of not abusing their
Yes,
their workers.
don't beat your slaves.
Don't beat your slaves.
The last thing I have is
Yeah, you go ahead. You go ahead. Yeah, and
okay.
then I got the one that's going to wrap it up.
That this has generally been a really good year for video game adaptations. You had Last of Us come out at the start of the year. That was good. Gran Turismo came out, which was actually like a really solid sports story. Super Mario Brothers is like the biggest animated movie of all, not the biggest opening for an animated movie of all time. And just recently, we had Five Nights at Freddy's, which has probably one of the biggest splits between audience rating and critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Really?
Ever. It got lambasted. Terrible reviews across the board, and it broke box office records for October.
Really? Well, was there any other like scary movies coming out in October of that caliber?
I don't know. I mean, there was a new Saw. There was like a Nun movie. There's a bunch of horror movies that came out.
Yeah, but Five Nights at Freddy's probably had the biggest.
Nothing at Five Nights at Freddy's. And the commentary that I've read makes some interesting points. That one of the biggest complaints that critics have about the movie is that like it's not scary. It's a horror movie that's just flat out not scary. But a lot of commentary I read says, well, Five Nights at Freddy's has like a weirdly young fan base.
Right.
And so it kind of makes sense that you would make a horror movie that's not super scary because this is basically my first horror movie for an entire generation.
Right. Exactly. That's smart. That's absolutely smart. They knew their audience. They knew who to appeal to. They picked it very narrowly, and they tailored the movie to them.
Yeah, and that's what I read too. That they said the filmmakers were like, okay, we can either make this for the general public, or we can make it just for the diehard fans. We'll just make it for the diehard fans.
Right. And I'm kind of glad that they went for the diehard fans and that it broke box office records. That says something because that's one of the things that has always been a problem with adaptations, especially movie adaptations, is that the producers are like, well, we're going to make it accessible to everybody because they don't trust that there's enough gamers out there that to make it economically viable. If you play to the fan base, then they're going to lose money. They want to dumb it down, spread it, and make it, as generally palatable as you could, palatable to anybody that walks in, whether they like games or not. And many times you and I have had conversations about movie adaptations need to stop fucking around and recognize that there's enough of us out there that will pay money to see a movie. You don't need to pander to the non-fans because the non-fans are not going to like it no matter what. Whereas the fans are going to forgive you for a lot because they love it already. And Five Nights at Freddy's did exactly that. They said, hey, we're going to go for our core, and anybody else that can come along will come along.
So,
and that's what they did. The core came out and said they loved it. Fantastic. Wonderful. They told all their friends and all their friends went.
Yeah. So I have zero interest in seeing it, but I also feel like it was, you're right. It targeted the right demographic because I also was never interested in playing those games. So it's like, yeah, I'm glad to see it's doing well.
Yeah. All right, my last item is, and I couldn't get the banner up there fast enough. Sorry, guys. So I was going to have to rely upon that for the banner. My final item is, and this is goodbye because we love to always end on a fun one.
Okay.
So you've heard of speed runs, right?
Yeah, I was okay. Wait, let me end. This is kind of a funny one. It's only a headline. I
Okay.
don't need to read the story. No one needs to read the story. But
Okay.
I was scrolling through like the past Kotaku articles and I saw this headline. And it's 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 terrible, but it's also kind of funny. But I'll say this first, that way we can end on your wholesome fun one. This is the headline. Former Call of Duty champion apologizes for homophobic slur. Update, now he said the N-word.
Call of Duty fans, you just gotta love them, don't you? Don't you?
It's like, okay, that's the whole. I don't need to know
Don't
who
need
it
to go any
is.
further.
We
That
don't
are
need to
you?
go any
It's
further.
all of a sudden we all understand. It was that knowing look where everybody in the audience goes, "Mm-hmm,
Yeah, it's like, oh, yeah, that checks out.
yeah, that jives." All right, so here's my story: is that you've heard of speedruns, right?
Yeah,
It's a big thing. You've had people speed running with, like, especially Elden Ring. People finishing doing Elden Ring on keyboards with dance pads, doing it, two-handed in two different games.
there are people doing sex speed runs in Baldur's Gate 3.
Sex speed runs in Baldur's Gate 3. Well, here's a new one that you've never heard of. Awesome Games Done Quick, which is one of the big, conventions for speed running. It's had a lot of great things happen over the years, and they have announced that in 2024, I'm going to unmute this so that you can actually hear it. They have a super special, never been done before speed run.
Ready. But
Last summer, a dog learned to speedrun. And this January, he's gonna do it again. As long as he's not too distracted and he gets a good treat. Awesome Games Done Quick has had speedrunners from all walks of life, from various countries, but GDQ has never had a doge perform on the big stage. Until now. Don't miss this historic event as Peanut Butter, the
Peanut
Shiba,
Butter, of course.
becomes the first doggo to ever perform at Games Done Quick. When JSR lets the dogs out this January, we can all say with certainty, this has never happened before. See you there for some frame perfect action at Awesome Games Done Quick 2024.
So yeah, they're gonna have a dog speed running.
this is the hard one, PB. Can we do it?
Okay, that
yeah.
seems like that would be super entertaining.
Yeah, and this dog has played games before. He's owned by a speedrunner named, let me pull it up here. He is owned by a JSR, who is a JSR underscore, who is a speedrunner. It is his dog, and he has trained the dog to play games, and he is looking to see if he can beat, what was the game? He's going to be speed running the 1985 NES platformer Gyromite, and they're going to try and do it in 25 minutes,
Okay.
which is
Yeah, it looks like that might have been the previous record that the dog got, because it looks like he was streaming it and doing and timing it.
yeah, maybe, I don't
Right
know.
in the
I think we
in the
can, 'cause
trailer,
you're
they had a
a
video
good
of
dog.
him
You're a good
playing
dog.
it with the timer going.
Oh. He's laser focused. Laser focused, Doge. But
I guess it's a game where you don't have to push forward. It's just
good dog. What a good boy. You did so good.
So yeah, there's your dog speed running or playing a game, and yeah, if you want to watch, I think that this is probably the best thing that's ever happened to Awesome Games Done Quick, because everybody is going to be watching it now. So it is Awesome Day Become Quick will be raising money for the Prevent Cancer Foundation, and it's going to take place January 14th through 21st. So yeah, they haven't released the full schedule for Awesome Games Done Quick 2024, but yeah, so he's going to be on the schedule. It is going to happen, and I'm totally going to watch that.
That's cool.
Yeah, good old doggos doing it again.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I used to play Rob the Robot's part. I made my cousin feed the columns radishes to pass, or else I'd crush her. So, a Halo 2 speedrunner screwed himself over at Games Done Quick. I will have to look that up. It's been around. All right. So I got nothing else. I'm now officially freaking exhausted. And I gotta stay up. I gotta stay awake. It's only 5 o'clock.
Yeah. I mean, at least like 3 more hours. I feel like 8 o'clock is an okay time to go to bed.
No, because then I'll be up at 5. No, I need to hang out until at least 10.
Just play some more Baldur's Gate.
That's what I'm probably gonna. Of course, that's what I'm gonna do. Come on, of course, that's what I'm gonna do. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Let me close out the show. Thank you for listening to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 695. We recorded this on Sunday, November 5th, 2023. I've been Edie Sellers, and with me has been Nick Nicola. Ways to get a hold of us: GameHounds.net is our website. GameHounds@gmail.com is our email. We record this show live every Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, here on Twitch and on YouTube. On Twitch, we are the GameHounds. On YouTube, we are GameHounds Vids, VIDS, is in videos. We would love to have you join. Thank you to everyone who was in the chat room today. Thank you for being here for my first day back my first show back from my trip to Bali. Hopefully next week I won't be nearly as much falling asleep. Also, don't forget, I do have a second channel that if you want to see what it is to drive in Bali, I'm going to try and endeavor to get all this edited and put up soon. But I am The Daily Scoot on YouTube, so you can see what things are like. But as always, you can always go to our GameHounds Vids channel and see what's going on with our show as long as after the fact, as well as on the Twitch channel. If you have not liked and subscribed, please do so, whether you are on Twitch or on YouTube. Certainly very much on YouTube. A big thumbs up would be a big help to both Nick and me, because it helps us get more people listening and more people watching. Have a great week, everyone. We will talk to you later, and keep an eye out on our Discord. Remember, we do have a Discord. Our Discord is full of lovely people like you, and that's also where we make announcements like we're about to go live and to stream a show. Please join our Discord at this link down below, and or it's also on the Twitch channel, also on the YouTube in the description of our channel. Please feel free to join us. We would love to have you there, and stop by the general and say hi. I'm sure either Nick or I will say hi back and let you know when things are happening. Have a great week, everyone. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, and we're out. All right, I do have to go to the bathroom, which will keep me awake for like a good 45 seconds. I do have to walk the dogs, which means it'll keep me awake for another half hour. And then I'm going to be playing Baldur's Gate. Is there anything you guys need from me other than, my bright, shiny face here back on Sunday and not quite so totally whacked out? I'm going to take that as a no. Mostly because I got to go to the bathroom. As you can see, I'm jiggling because that soda has to go somewhere. So, Nick, I will talk to you later. And yeah, text me, and I promise I will turn on my notifications today. So we don't.
Okay.
Later, everyone. Glad to be home. I missed you very much. And yeah, I really, really, really miss you, and I'm glad that it's great to travel. It's also great to come home.
Yes.
See you next week, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye.